All right, beautiful souls. High vibrations to you all. Tonight we are going in on, understanding the signs of the times, and especially with the combination of this full pink moon. Of course, like I always say, this is not the first full pink moon, but dealing with the influences and some of the transits, and also where we are within humanity, where we are within our own personal lives. It is going to be very, very indicative of. I would say how we move forward with the level of consciousness that we are being acclimated to, with all the information that we are being acclimated to. This is to me, nothing is new under the sun, and nothing happens overnight. So y'all know I've been talking about the pre-COVID era and all this stuff. It's just kind of, dealing with the cycles that we're into, especially dealing with the past 7 years, the past 14 years. Even when you deal with this being a Jubilee year, right? How they had the Jubilee energy, it's going to be dealing with something that happens every 50 years, a 25-year cycle, a 50-year cycle. All right. Um, where we are now within our own individual understandings of being human beings. All right. You got so many different things that are happening when it comes to how we identify with being human beings. People is born one way and saying they're another. Surgeries. I mean, but hey, these are all individual choices that we kind of have the power to choose, but it does not take away from what is reality. So with Neptune being very present here, with the Pisces North Node, Neptune about to move into Aries. I know Saturn about to move into Aries. When you deal with the stars, this can dictate a lot of the reflections that we see that human beings play out on this earth. And y'all always know that I always say you don't have to believe in astrology to make it real. I love to say that we don't live by the stars. A fool lives by the stars. A wise man makes them dance at his feet. You are an expression of all these things. So tonight I'll talk about this expression of you through the energy of Libra, through the energy of Aries, also through some of the influences that are also aspecting and transiting in our lives right now based off this Western hemisphere, this Western construct, which is also going to deal with why we deal with time the way we do, deal with the astrological seasons the way we do. All right. So we tapping in tonight. And also I'll be going over some things that are related to Christ consciousness. All right. Now that is going to be related to how a lot of the scriptures is literally telling us about who we are, all right, on a cosmic level, all right, and it's so dynamic, to the point to where the scripture can be so decoded, you know. And I love to hear it. I love to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it allows us to. It has allowed me, I would say, to see myself from a different perspective. I'm going to be offering that tonight. This is my perspective. I'm not here to change the way nobody thinks. I'm not here to change the way you believe. All right. This is all for enlightenment purposes and entertainment purposes only. All right. So when it's all said and done, we all have our choice of free will. I'll be talking about fate and free will tonight. I'll also be talking about the energy of Tahuti and Ma'at tonight. All right. And remember, for those of you who did pay in full, you will be receiving a full transits breakdown of understanding your moon transits and how to integrate those moving forward over the next 2 weeks until the next moon cycle. All right. So it'll be a lot of that for you. We'll kind of touch on some of that tonight, but the individual ones who's going to get that, I'll be sending you that out in an email form once I'm done with the workshop tonight. All right. But for those of you that are here, you still are going to be getting a lot of information. I want to give you a better understanding of the metaphysical aspects of what we're experiencing, so how it can all become more relatable. So y'all know I love touching on mythology. I love to make a lot of things make sense as a Gemini. All right. So I use the information that I've gathered. I use what I know. I use my experiences to bring this perspective to you all. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get to sharing this PDF. All right. So we can get going up in here because it's a lot of information. And I don't want to keep you out too long tonight. All right. So let me get to sharing my screen here. It's the wrong one. There we go. Let's Lilith. I don't need that. There we go. Full pink. All right, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
All right,
I can see it.
all right, cool.
Good.
Now, of course, thank y'all. The full pink moon will be culminated tomorrow. So the full moon will move into it's already in Libra right now, per se. So we're gonna be feeling kind of the reflections of this energy. Y'all know y'all have heard me say before, full moon energy is present 3 days before and 3 days after. Right? It's kind of the way our body deals with this moon energy. So when you're dealing with this moon, the sun is in Aries, the Libra full moon highlights the archetype of balance, justice, and emotional, relational intelligence. All right, relational intelligence. Remember, this is, emotional intelligence is very reflective of relational intelligence. And as you can see, the theme for this is going to be balancing and becoming. A lot of us are balancing out the old us with the new us, integrating new routines, new things, and so we can release what no longer is needed so you can rise. All right. So this is kind of gonna be setting us up going into the next full moon. All right. So remember I told you that's gonna be in Scorpio. All right. So we're gonna be witnessing a lot of this opportunity to rise from the ashes like the phoenix, because by the time this next full moon comes with Scorpio, we're going to witness a lot of shedding and a lot of renewal and a lot of what you're rebirthing now, what you're integrating into your life now is going to be fully integrated. All right. So this is like the initiation into the integration. Remember, we still talking about the hero's journey as well, and that has a lot to do with the aspects of dealing with the sacred mirror, even the relational intelligence, of course, which is relationship wise, and also the sacred mirror. All right. Now that's why the sacred mirror deals with Aries and Libra, because the self is always reflected. This the epitome of when you hear people say, "You don't attract what you want; you attract what you are." That is the energy of Aries and Libra. All right. And I'll break it down further as I go into the PDF. Now, opposing Aries Sun brings things of self versus other. All right. Independence versus codependence. Impulse versus harmony. So this axis forces an inner confrontation. Are you acting from personal truth or reaction? All right. To the external world. This is all what think about all the external forces at play right now. Think about what's going on in TV with Donald Trump, the politics, the finances. I mean, people are literally going through it right now. I mean, hey, if you threaten somebody's survival, missing the jobs, right? People 401ks have been zapped. I mean, these are real things that can affect you, right? This is all. Remember, if we talk about finances and balance and Libra, you see what's going on here. So why else would they be using this energy when it can be at its peak? When they know in the Aries season you're gonna be thinking about yourself and your money and other people, and you know what I'm saying, how you gotta balance all that out, and if you can't take care of yourself, how other people gonna be good in your life, right? And if you keep making sure everybody else good, so all these internal conflicts is gonna be amplified when these outside forces start influencing you. All right. And I'm gonna say us, because all of us are subjected to this energy, but all of us have a choice on how we respond to it. All right. So that's why that acts as this forces an internal confrontation, inner confrontation, and are you acting a personal truth or a reaction to the external world? So self-awareness, accountability, emotional maturity, right? Sacred reflection. These aspects dealing with the moon trine of Pluto and Aquarius. All right. This is going to be a deep transformational through self and through self-honesty, especially regarding how power dynamics play out in your relationships, right? Because now we're in the world, we talking about it's 50-50. I ain't no 50, I ain't no 50-50 woman. What you bring to the table, you get what I'm saying? Like, just think about everything that's going on, the power dynamics in relationships right now. I mean, just think about it. And if you are in a relationship, think about how it's playing out in your relationship dynamic. Think about if you are dating. Yeah, even if you thinking about it, here you could be in a power dynamic within yourself. Do you want to date? Do I want to fuck with these niggas? Do I want to be outside? You get what I'm saying? Like, so all these different inner conflicts that can be at play. Whoever that is, mute for me, please. And all these inner conflicts that can be at play, can be very playing out right now inside of the inner mirror of the soul. All right. So that self honesty. especially regarding how those power dynamics play out in your relationships, are going to be very dynamic. Now, Venus in Pisces conjunct Neptune. See, this is romantic idealism. I was just in a room on Clubhouse and we went into some romantic idealism for you. You hear me? So, the creative vision, but also delusional or the rose colored lens. See, it's like when Dick Gregory said, once you take the rose-colored glasses off, or once you put them on, you can't take them off, and once you take them off, you can't put them back on. Like all that, it's just like in the Matrix. Once you out, it's hard to get back in, and once you in, it's hard to get out. You see what I'm saying? Because you have to find a harmonious flow between those two worlds, right? Everything might not always be about escaping. It can be sometimes about surrendering to what is, and that can show your power. So Venus and Pisces, because remember Venus exalts in Pisces. So this one I've been talking about, people gonna be on demon time, right? Because Venus rules demons. All right. Solomon, all right, and also King James wrote a book on demonology. And when you understand astrology, even ancient astrologers would once tie Venus to the aspect of understanding demonic parts and how the very same things that could please you could kill you. This is why they call Lucifer morning star, because Venus is the morning star, and Lucifer represents phosphorus. So the things that ignite your pleasure. This is why the devil is all about your innate desires and guilty pleasures. So that's why Pisces can be about an undoing of something. And this is why Jesus was born of a virgin. See, this is what all this is about, right? Because when you're dealing with the Virgo energy, right, and y'all have heard me talk about this before. So Mercury direct in Aries, dealing with mental breakthroughs and new insights, rapid integration from recent retrograde. So Mercury is going direct into Aries, but right now, all right, it kind of went back into Pisces. It's kind of what it does when it goes through a pre-shadow, right? You go through a shadow phase. All right. So Mercury is kind of being seen in Pisces is going to move back through the same degrees in Aries that it retrograded in. It's kind of how a retrograde works. So some of the same things that you had to redo or rethink or that was slowing down for you over the past 2 weeks, right? Past 22 days, kind of how long a retrograde lasts. So over those past 22 days, all right, what has been playing out in your life? What do you feel like has been slowed down? Communication. What areas have been conflicted for you? Right? What conversations have been happening in your head that you really need to be playing out with somebody else? Or is it even worth talking about? You see what I'm saying? Like, is some of this shit that you really, or some of these conversations that we want to have with other people, are they really worth having? You feel what I'm saying? So this energy is gonna be testing the internal fortitude. All right. So that's why the mental breakthroughs, because sometimes sitting with some shit can make you say, man, that shit wasn't even worth it. It's like deleting the whole fucking text. You get what I'm saying? You like, you know what? I am delete the whole thing. It ain't worth it. Right? So those new insights, rapid integration from that retrograde is gonna be happening. Now, this is gonna be very symbolic of the hero's journey. Now, y'all know there's been a theme I've been on for the past like 2 moon cycles. All right, because it's been leading up into this. Okay, now because the mirror of the soul, the full moon corresponds to the stage 7 of the hero's journey. This approach to the innermost cave. So this is where most heroes confront their internal dualities before the final ordeal. Think about this, y'all, right? Think about this. How many of y'all watch hero movies, right? I know y'all do. Now, when you think about the hero movie, he'll lose the first battle, right? He'll almost, now the first ones come on, he kicking ass. He boom, 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 boom. They introducing his powers, showing you what he do. They might take you through the childhood conflicts and all that good stuff, right? And then it comes to a point to where it starts to peak, it starts to climax. The movie, it's done got good now, right? It's this battle you've been waiting on. And you thought this was gonna be the one where the hero kicked the villain ass. This is the moment, right? Now, for some reason, the hero loses and he gets sent off into the darkness to where he questions his whole ability. Those moments in your life to where you get sent off to question your whole life. Who am I? What am I? Why am I here? What am I doing all this for? What's the purpose? Right? And a lot of people may not be in that space, which is beautiful, but I guarantee somebody done been there. All right. So that's that stage, right? Now, a lot of people come out that stage only to go back to it. So this is when you start to see the part ones, the part twos. You feel what I'm saying? Because they will have sometimes they'll end the movie on that battle. Because if the movie done got so good, now this a lot of people get cool with what? Losing. And they can say, well, you know what, just is what it is. I tried. I did everything I could. So a lot of time we'll throw things to the wind as if our whole self-identity is now no longer real because we were attached to an outcome. All right. So that final battle, right? The before you finally go out there and you say, this is it. It seems like it's always met with something that can seem like it's just really challenging. I like to say there are distractions, right? And it can make it seem like you going into that cave like the hero before you go out here, because now you got to ask yourself, how much do I really want to sacrifice for this? Am I willing to really willing to lose everything just for this? Am I willing, really ready and willing to put what it takes into this to make this thing happen? Right? So when you're talking about that final deal, this is what the moon is going to illuminate those old karmic relational patterns. Remember, I said it's like we had a karmic checkpoint. So how self-absorbed or hyper-independent, right? Hyper-independence blocks unity, right? The need for sacred reciprocity and boundaries. So the moon in Libra serves as a divine mirror showing you what you protect versus what you actually feel. A lot of people protect shit because you don't want conflict. You say yes with your lips and no with your heart. Now, why would a human being do this? Why? Well, because a part of us can know that if I do say something, it's going to cause conflict. Now, imagine this going on at work, and then it starts to go on at your house. See, this is when I tell people a lot of people have been so used to being a certain way at home to where you go to work and you show up and be a totally different person, but a part of these attributes will show up. So, this is why a lot of people start taking home to work and work to home. Because when you're talking about being relatable and relational intelligence, all right, everybody ain't your friend. And sometimes when you working with people, right, we can take on these people and start having relationships with these people because you with them every goddamn day. But how are you dealing with your work life and your home life balance? You see what I'm saying? See, these are the patterns because how do you project, right? Versus how do you say what you actually feel? So sometimes when you project shit, it's only because you are the one that doesn't want the conflict. And sometimes we can get so used to dealing with internal conflict to where we think everybody else is supposed to be feeling it. So this is why, we got to really honor that everybody don't think the same way. Everybody does not handle conflict resolution the same way. You can't dictate the way you make somebody feel. You can't dictate the way they react to how you make them feel. What you can do is be aware that your actions affect other people. See, this the divine mirror, right? So the dissonance between harmony and avoidance. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people avoid things and they think it brings more harmony. Well, y'all know if I'd have said this, it was gonna see. This is why Mayat, right, and this energy of Aries, love and war. Cause most of the people that deal with love and relationships, guess what? They one lie, one text message, one motherfucking secret away from war. You feel what I'm saying? See, this is why the next sign after Libra is Scorpio. So when you understand that a lot of times what we think we're protecting, and I'm gonna tell you as a man, I'm gonna tell you straight up, I gotta be real with y'all. Y'all know I always am. When I used to go find a side chick, and I didn't understand how my actions was affecting somebody else. I didn't understand that the fact that I would be over here and I'm making I'm telling I ain't happy over here, she don't do this, she don't do that, you know what I'm saying? Damn, I'm doing everything, she don't want to do nothing. You get what I'm saying? Like that's just opening up the door. I'm voicing how I feel, being so selfish. You get what I'm saying? See, this is what I had to learn in relationships. I'm giving y'all some of my life lessons in relationships, right? Y'all know I done healed in public, so a lot of us can heal in private, okay? So when you dealing with this aspect of saying, for me, I was like, man, why am I hiding this, right? Why do I find myself talking to somebody else about somebody else? This is not cool, right? And even it was not protecting the woman that I was with. Actually, very disrespectful. Actually, putting her in a place to where she was like vulnerable in areas to where she didn't even know. See, this is when women can be like, they don't want somebody to know something about them, and they the last ones to find out. But see, most men, we get those side chicks. That's what happened. Get the side chick. She know everything about the one at home. You know, one at home don't know nothing about the side chick. See, this is a victim mentality. Telling you where it come from. This the inability to be authentic. This is exactly what this mirror will reflect. Because when you're not having the hard conversations, anybody in this room that's done been married or been in a relationship for a long time will tell you that when that happens, it's like even in the scripture, even in the Bible, I'm gonna say in church, they say once you open up that window, you can't close it, right? See, this is when we start dealing with work husbands and all this old shit. A part of us, work wives. I'm just saying, ain't nobody now. We all can have our own. It's innocent. It's innocent. But man, I'm gonna tell you, as a man, boy, act like you want to give, boy, act like you want to give me some. See, some of these brothers ain't got no self control, and I know a lot of women y'all done experienced that. So I'm just making you aware that sometimes what you seek, right? You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So just reflect on those times in your life, all right, and see how you've grown through that. Have you dealt with it on a relationship level, even if it wasn't you, for somebody who did those things to you? All right. So when you're dealing with these breakthroughs and these power dynamics, that Venus and Pisces conjunct Neptune, the idealism, the creative vision, but also delusion or the rose-colored glasses. So when you're dealing with what illusions are you ready to release? Mercury directing Aries, those mental breakthroughs. All right. So we're also gonna come down back into this cave. Now you're dealing with the self abandonment and hyper independency blocks. So that need for the sacred reciprocity. And that dissonance between that, see, when you're living in alignment with your truth, or are you whether you're living in alignment with your truth or people pleasing others to maintain peace? What's going on in your life? Which one are you doing? All right. And this is not about becoming a tyrant. All right. Straight up. Because sometimes we get so caught up in saying fuck it, fuck it, fuck it, to where we don't even care or take other people's feelings into regard. And I watch a lot of people start wearing their healing as a badge. So don't be one of them people to where you're not accountable. All right. If you just doing fuck shit, you just doing fuck shit. Don't be out here trying to act like it's everybody else when you know damn well it's you. All right. So when you're dealing with this mundane and collective influence, the global themes will be about peace and negotiations. You're gonna see a lot of this start to happen. All right. You kind of seen it happen with Trump. Okay, when he did the tariffs, and then he was like, "My bad, my bad. I'm gonna drop some of it," and then next thing you know, the market fucking did some shit it's never did in history. You feel me? All this is financial games. This is how they're playing these games with this global system. Art, law, and beauty, diplomacy are gonna be at the forefront. Expect movements around body sovereignty and aesthetics and also gender dynamics. You're going to see a lot more of this energy become more, I would say, prevalent. Not only because of this full moon energy, but because Taurus is about to move. I mean, Uranus is about to move into Gemini. And when that happens, of course, there will be a moon transit on that. And y'all know I'm all over that. Of course, the workshop on that is going to be dynamic because that's going to be the mass awakening combination. All right, the mind, the Gemini. All right, married with Uranus, the thinking marrying with the knowing. All right, all the shit that people done gathered, all the information, right, is about to become just like you talking about mind explosions. So that's what's about to happen. You're going to see the legal system, even interracial alliances may undergo radical shifts due to Pluto's subtle influence in Aquarius. This just means that even like how Trump, one radical thing that we saw, I can point out to you that would kind of reflect this energy, right? When Trump, when they was talking about they was going to send all those people to one island, certain amount of criminals to one island, when they talking about even bringing the death penalty to drug dealers and shit like that, all right? And they ain't just people think they talking about people selling weed. No, they talking about fentanyl and they talking about like controlled substances that can actually kill people if you take one dose. All right, like X pills. A lot of people don't think you can
Yeah.
take one X pill and that can be it for you. There's certain drugs that you can take and it can have an effect on your neurological system and you can never come back from it. Those are the type of drug crimes that they're gonna start really getting serious on. The ones that affect the mind. See, so I really want y'all to really pay attention to, you talking about weed is becoming legal and all this good stuff. So, when you talking about what's going on with now fentanyl laced weed, so, as an avid weed smoker, y'all know damn well I'm all over this kind of stuff because, hey, y'all think it won't cost me nothing to put this down. So they go to playing games and I ain't growing my own weed, yeah, I will quickly stop smoking. I'm just being real with y'all, straight up. I ain't gonna play with these people. Cause see, you sometimes you gotta honor a snake as a snake. See, don't lie to yourself and like I always say, don't become so spiritual, so heavily to where you know earthly good. All right. So when you're dealing with even the watch for trends around this artificial intelligence, COVID-19. I, I probably said this once or twice, publicly. But with COVID-19, when you deal even with the 19, right, in numerology, right, AI is 1 and 9. So everything they did, now why do you think AI, right, is so powerful and so prominent right now? All right. And when you're thinking about the invoking of it, which to me is not a bad thing. I actually love AI, especially when you know how to prompt it and tell it what to do. So a lot of this is going to be becoming more influential. You're going to be watching a lot of more alliances that's going to happen with this energy, and that's why a lot of this metaphysical meaning of the pink moon, despite the name of the pink moon, it doesn't appear pink. It's named after the wild ground phlox, which early blooming of the pink flower in the spring symbolism, right? So the pink moon springs pink flowers, right? You see the cherry blossoms, you see the phlox flower, all right. You see pink flowers start to bloom during the pink moon and after. All right. So this is how nature reflects this as well. So new life is blooming after interrenewal or after the internal winter. All right. So the internal winter that we went through, the return of softness, divine feminine restoration. All right. The divine goddess is like returning. Just when I was talking about the Venus, especially going direct. Because healing through beauty and grace and inner beauty, inner harmony is what is going to happen. So this is like very heavily with the Venus conjunct Neptune and Pisces. Because that powerful conjunction infused the full moon with the energy of like divine romance and spiritual love and illusion, but also this artistic transcendence, right? Which means that it's just going to be like beauty in the movement of the body. You know how body art, body painting, you feel what I'm saying? Like people finna start back taking pictures, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know those silhouette pictures, you know what I'm saying? Those pictures where you can take and it's just not your face, but it's a shadow of you, right? So a lot of the integration of the shadow, right? Because on the shadow side, the escapism, the avoidance of reality and love, spirituality, right? Even spiritual bypassing. So practice, to me, spiritual bypassing. A lot of people love to say that word or those words, right? But to me, it's just about trying to think your way through this process. So a lot of people even talk about spiritual bypass and spiritual bypass and they goddamn self. Cause you can't think your way through this. That's the spiritual bypass. You thinking that you can learn something, watch a YouTube clip, right? Read a book. Now you know it. You feel what I'm saying? Like self-proclaimed Reiki masters when they ain't even don't. I'm just saying. Like, I'm just telling y'all. Like it's a lot of shit going on in the spiritual community. You better watch out. Okay. A lot of people saying shit that they are not. The imagination is getting very entangled with the intellect. So just make sure you're not one of them people. And that means if you're talking about shit that you have yet to experience, that equates to just lying. All right. So the powerful conjunction, all right, with this moon is gonna be very dealing with, especially with divine romance and all that good stuff. So Libra rules the kidneys. Now practice grounding rituals before this dreamy energy, right? To balance this dreamy energy. Salt baths, body movement, or chanting. You know, lam, vam, ram, hum, all of the chakra chants. I ain't talking about them rap song versus hooks, okay? Even some of them are chants, but they ain't the kind of chants that can activate your system. They activate you in a different way, but you don't know. So try something, I would say high vibrational. All right, and I'll get off into some hertz, off into this energy as well. And making sure because Libra rules the kidneys. So this is gonna be very dealing with the lower back, the adrenals, the urinary system, and the equilibrium of the body fluids. All right. When we talk about acidic versus acidic versus um what is the acidic nature versus alkaline? My bad. All right. So the acidic versus alkaline is gonna be very influential right now. All right, making sure that your body's keeping a score because your body does keep the score. I would say making sure you're listening to your body. All right. So the affirmation, of course, would be of course balancing with electrolytes and releasing tension from the spine and the sacrum. All right. Cause that sacrum and that spine, I'm gonna tell you, I've been having some adjustments going on. So making sure that you make sure that lower back area, all right, is something that you're kind of taking care of. And also, if you need some good massaging or a good sacrum, because popping those hips and moving the hips, you get what I'm saying? Like, so that's sciatica, all right. So affirmation, I nourish peace within to create peace without. I mean, if you nourish peace, the less friction you have internally, the less friction you'll go through externally. I promise you that. Okay. Now, of course, to summarize this will be dealing with restoring sacred balance within relationships and communities, recognizing protection and illusion, transmuting it through heart-based truth, awakening the peaceful warrior archetype, right? It's like not the warrior in a garden, but there's a garden inside of the warrior type shit. So first being first in truth, soften your delivery, it's just like doing it with grace, doing it with compassion. All right. Everything gonna have to be internalized. It ain't about a fight. It ain't about rah, rah, rah. All right. Sometimes even you being calm can have a motherfucker pissed the fuck off. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with you knowing when to walk away. So healing the collective wound, all right, or either or polarity of remembering both and wholeness. All right. So wholeness is always a destination. Y'all know I say healing has a destination into wholeness. All right. And I want to take this now into the pink moon and fate and free will because I did this room on this, and I talked about I was going to talk about this off in this workshop tonight. But this one of the main things that's at play because when you're dealing with the astrological aspect, this cosmic dance of fate and free will, right? Because karma can be found a lot in your south node, right? The soul contracts can be found a lot of times with Saturn and Pluto and Chiron. Your purpose and your destiny can be found with your north node and your midhaven, your midheaven. All right. The innate gifts and challenges will be your sun, moon, rising, and your planetary aspects. And Chiron, I should have put that right there too. But Chiron is also going to be your gifts to the world. All right. See, your chart does not dictate your life, it shows potentialities. The positions of these planets reflects energies, not enforce them. Right. This is why astrology is often called a map, not a mandate. All right. This is a map, not a mandate. So free will, the path chosen. Free will is your conscious choice and how you interpret the experience. All this is your will now. Okay. This is what's in your awareness to utilize to its highest expression from a place of being conscious when you do it. How you're interpreting this experience. How do you respond to transits and triggers? Most of the triggers are coming through transits. That's why they come through other people. Somebody transits your life. You pass somebody in the store, they piss you off. Road rage, right? All these can be seen. You see, we don't recognize how quick and how fast. See how something can change your life in 30 seconds, right? The matter of your attitude, because you willingly fell into some shit, the way you interpreted the experience. So how you alchemize pain into growth, how you align or resist the soul's path. All this is your choice. All this is your will. I call it, I say people can push their birth chart back. I told y'all the oldest. I know y'all don't heard me say the oldest person I've ever done a reading for. Excuse me, was 82 years old. Right. Matter of fact, 87. All right. So when you're talking about somebody still finding their way at 87 years old, now how many people you know will be at 87? And this lady did not look 87. She did not sound 87. She sound and looked every bit of like 60. I promise you. But she still felt like she had some stuff that she was here to do. Right. Even some, a lot of the older women I've done for 72, 77, 82. Right. So I've done a lot of readings for older women. Okay. So when you talking about this whole path and this whole thing about fate and free will, it's going to be very, very powerful when it comes to this energy that we're corresponding or responding to right now. So one person could seek healing and therapy, another may suppress emotions, deepening wounds. All right. And then another one, when you're dealing with this pink moon, um, this is also going to deal with how the moon is going to be at that 22 degrees. That's that master builder degree. All right. And that kind of opposes the sun, especially dealing with the height and the other polarities. All right. Amplified with this. So this fate and free will is going to be very, very amplified with the Venus and Pisces conjunct Neptune, spiritual love, dissolving illusions. Of course, you had the amplified recent solar eclipse when we had that on the 8th, the workshop that we did there. Mars in Cancer, the proactive action, all right, and also the ancestral healing. Pluto in Aquarius, square Jupiter and Taurus, breaking free from outdated paradigms. The North Node and South Node in Pisces, North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo, acts as surrender versus control. All right. So fate and free will under the influence of the pink moon and the full in this eclipse, right? All these things are still, we're still dealing with this eclipse energy. All right. I cannot let y'all forget that. Because between this eclipse portal, between the 8th and the 24th, initiates major endings and beginnings. Soul contracts could be activated. All right. We're about to have 423. That's gonna be Earth Day, right? So this karmic meeting, the completions or the shifts that can occur in relationships, even in health and purpose. So the free will activation is gonna be through this full moon, right? Which means that there'll be more access to the energy of your willingness and your willpower to make shit happen. All right. So don't hesitate to tap into it. So a lot of us gonna be forced to speak up for ourselves, and you know what I'm saying, reclaiming what it is you want to do with your life. A lot of things. See, this was happening on a cosmic level. People's jobs are being removed, and they being forced back into the work field, or either something is being removed so they can go live their life they want to, the way they want to live it. Imagine this job is saying, okay, we done with you. We about to pay you off. We finna give you your pension. Matter of fact, we're gonna give you an incentive to go with it. And people like, but damn, I can't come back to work. Man, these folks just said they're finna give you $100,000, $50,000, $70,000, $20,000, $30,000. And people are saying, but I ain't gonna be able to go back to work. I really want y'all to think about how psychological that is for the same people that's probably been complaining about this job for 20 years. So you see what's at play? Some of the same things that people been complaining about and saying that they don't want, the moment it get removed, you start fighting for it. See, this is dissonance. So when you talking about when you want, why are you moving in that way? If this is you or this you, what is the fate versus free will? Can you accept fate? That would activate your free will, because a lot of things you cannot change because it was fated. You can't change the fact that you were born and you're gonna die. You can't change the fact, like I can't change the fact that my mother and my dad, both my mother and my father have transitioned. That can affect my free will and say I don't want to live anymore. So you see how we deal with fate versus free will? So you can't stop what is. None of us can. This is why I say even when you're dealing with astrology and these cycles, we can't stop what's coming. All you can do is have your free will online to access how you respond to it. That's all you can do. So this pink moon is going to encourage a lot of balance between ego and empathy, assertion and surrender. Everything is not a fight. Everything don't deserve your energy. Everything don't deserve a reaction. Everything don't deserve a You feel what I'm saying? So how humanity chooses to resolve conflict internally and collectively. I mean, we watching children play this out. I'm in Texas. We just watched a little boy carry a knife to school because that was the way he said he gonna handle conflict. Who can blame him? You see? Some children will be like, I told the teacher, I told the principal, I told my parents, and I still got my ass whooped. You see what I'm saying? And this young man was like, I'm taking a knife because they touch me again. I know what I'm gonna do. See, I don't know I don't know what environment you came up in. I know I taught my children, somebody put their hands on you, you put them on them back. And I know I used to have weapons around my children, so ain't no telling what they probably thought about before. You get what I'm saying? So, how involved are we with the way not only we handle conflict resolution, but how your children watch you handle conflict resolution? How they watch you get angry? How do they watch you deal with other people? How do they watch you talk about people and gossip about people? You see what? See, this how deep this go. See, this is Aries. You feel what I'm saying? Because I don't know who raised you. I don't. And that's why a lot of y'all look at these people and say, I don't know who raised them. You get what I'm saying? Like, so just be very mindful of these energies because this is going to be reflecting on that mirror of destiny and encourages us to choose which one is going to be. So reflecting on what we've cultivated and revealing and what must be transmuted into step into our higher selves. All right. So the archetypal, even the mythological symbolism, Libra, the scales, fate as divine balance, justice as karma. All right, fate as divine balance, justice as karma. Justice is karma. See, fate brings the balance. So you don't always have to dictate somebody else's fate. Divine balance got that. You see how people, I'm gonna just let God. See, this the epitome of why people say the stuff they say. Because Libra or Maya is always at play. The scale's gonna always get balanced, baby, because fate is at play. Justice will always prevail because karma is at play. How many of us have been watching on the news people going to jail for shit they thought they got away with when it come to killing people? I'm just saying. Information coming out. Oh, they was behind it. I'm just telling you. Like, just pay attention to what's going on. This, see, even in the law, I'm from the streets. This time of the year is when they start cleaning up the streets. Just pay attention. All right. Because Aries rules first responders, firemen, policemen, right? Fire department and paramedics and all that good stuff. All right. So when you're dealing with that Aries Libra, the hero's path, Aries, the sacred mirror, Libra. All right. And Venus and Neptune echo of Sophia, the divine wisdom, the guiding choice. Because the waters of your body, water is technology. All right. When Venus exalts in Neptune, this is the blood. Venus rules cellular rejuvenation. That means that Libra and Taurus deals with cell salts that help to rejuvenate the cells. So the echo of Sophia, it resonates through memory and divine wisdom and how you can use what you've been through as your guiding charge. This is why Neptune can break illusions just as well as it can create them. See? It's why the Oracle told Neo to go ahead and take the cookie. You know I was gonna eat the cookie. Yeah, I know you did, but even when I told you, would it still stop you from eating the cookie? I doubt it. You see what I'm saying? So how to work with this energy, of course, because now when you bring in Mars and Cancer, the guardian of the threshold, right? Because Mars is guarding the initiation process, the warrior guarding the womb, the masculine guarding the womb. See, look at this. Come on now. Cancer, the matriarch, the mother, Mars, the hero. You see this here? All right. So this the guardian of the threshold, the courage to heal emotional lineages. How many of y'all standing on business when it come to your mama? I'm just saying. If you standing on business, if your mama's still present with you right now, okay, and you've been going through some things with your mama, let's just say you've been healing. You done adapted to um holistic healing and all this stuff, and now let's just say your mom might be coming around and say, "Let me see what you got going on," or your mom might done rebelled against your whole process and treated you just like you just done went against God or something, and she don't know what her baby into now because she burned. Say, I don't know. See that Leo energy that we dealt with last year, all right? See, all this ignited the culmination of how you had to re-nurture, reparent, Reacclimate yourself to your own feelings and shit. So you see the masculine coming at home to rest with Mars and Cancer, allowing the masculine principle to stop doing, and just be. This is your job. This is why a lot of women are starting to say, nah, it's a lot of, then we start to say men are supposed to protect the woman and protect the womb and protect the family. This is a man's job. A lot of men are returning to that. I know in cardology, they've been saying the five of diamonds is in the sun, the card of the black man. See, you cannot have one without the other. So when the rightful energy, I would say in a righteous or harmonious flow, which is the Libra energy, the Mayatean energy, the Heru energy with Mars, bringing the Cancerian energy. Now you bringing in Offset, the Isis principle. So you bringing in a rebirthing. Remember, I told y'all we've been going through a rebirthing. This is the initiation. That's why the energy or the wisdom of the body. Your body has more memory than your mind ever could. Your mind can't even fathom the amount of information that your body has access to. If you access that amount of memory, you wouldn't even know what to do with it. A lot of people want Akashic record readings, past life readings. Man, you already living out your past life now because memory don't stop playing out. See, this is why when I do those past life readings, I tell people you're looking for something that is right here. You're experiencing your past life in an aspect of this life right now. Are you remembering it? And what would it do for you if you did remember it? Would it stop the shit you having to deal with right now? Would it stop whatever's going on in your life? The fact that you remember everything in your past life, what that's gonna do for you in this life. And when you truly realize that you don't have to logically remember it, your cells do. You are already expressing it anyway. See, these are the scales of Libra. I told you that rules the kidneys. So let's not negate the fact that fate and divine balance exist within the waters of you. Karma exists within the waters of you. Justice exists within the waters of the memories of you, your cellular activity. This is why you can live in eternal hell. Inflamed cellular activity. Inflammation is what they call it, which leads to dis-ease, disharmony, because something is not in balance. So don't miss the message that it is all still you. I'm not talking about some external shit that you are not experiencing. This is all happening as you. Libra at 22 degrees is happening as you. You might not be aware of how, but that's why you're here tonight. All right. So you look at your transits, reflect on Aries, Libra polarity. How do you honor your identity versus maintaining harmony? All right. This is what integration is about. Cause sometimes dropping all of your shit and thinking everything is about you, it makes shit flow a whole lot easier. And sometimes stopping and speaking up for yourself can make shit flow a whole lot easier too. You just have to know when and where. There's a time and place for everything. And when you have the relational intelligence with the emotional intelligence, you can laugh some shit off and be like, boy, I almost tripped out right there. I thought that was, you know what, this ain't my shit. This is your shit. All right. So tracking your transits, and your nose, of course, this is what I'll be helping out. This is what I'll be doing for the people who paid in full. I'll be helping you how to track your nose along with your moon. All right. And this is gonna be dealing with kind of studying your progressed moon and your progressed midhaven. It's kind of what I'll be giving into. I had to put that down because this is exactly what I'll be giving to people who paid in full. All right. I'll be showing you how to track your transits, all right, and how to understand with your progressed moon and how it's influencing your natal moon, how your progressed midhaven is influencing your natal midhaven, which is your moon is your mood and your midhaven is your legacy and your social development and your work. Why you do the things you do, why you're headed towards the direction of what you're headed towards. All right. So this is why it can be real time soul development and insights. So here's some journal prompts you can do to put with that. What relationships mirror old karmic patterns? Why am I being invited to take accountability? All right. How do I align with my soul's path through conscious choice? So some of the tools you're gonna need: labradorite, that's for good transmutation. Moonstone is intuition. Lepidite is gonna be emotional release. Right, you can use some blue lotus, some mugwort, some rose petals. If you have any iron deficiencies or any liver issues, be careful with blue lotus. I want to give that and research all these herbs. Do not take my word for it. Research these herbs, look up the side effects, and see how they can deal with your body. And if you do have any questions, you can reach out to me. I am a herbalist. All right. So now silver, pink, violet are some of the colors. I put some color therapy off inside of this one because we're coming into the spring. This is when a lot of people start to use these colors. This is when you start to see the spring colors come out. So I want to show you how to utilize this springtime and put some colors in your life and use some color therapy. All right. So if you're dealing with anything in this aspect of fate and free will, all right, you can integrate some of those teas, some of those crystals, or all of those crystals, or whatever the case may be. Wear some silver, some pink, some violet. Libra corresponds with Venus, which is 528 hertz. There's a whole website. Go to 528hertz.com. They converted over a lot of music to 528 hertz. They got rap songs, all type of stuff on there. I used to listen to that station for like 2 years straight. It's a 528 hertz station, literally where they have tuned over certain music, certain songs, a lot of stuff over to 528 hertz. So you can just Google that and it should pop up. Should be no problem finding that. All right. So fate and free will, all right, and the evolutionary dance of the hero's journey, all right, and that's why each of us is the hero of our in our chart, choosing how you yield, right? How to yield the sword of awareness. When you make the unconscious conscious, you take fate into your hands. Called Jung, all right. So when you become conscious, when you make the unconscious conscious, when you bring in all of these different things that we're going over tonight, when you bring certain things into a level of your awareness, you're literally taking your fate into your own hands. Okay. Remember, see, these are some of the aspects that you look into in your chart to understand your own fate and your own free will. And if you want a deeper insight into this, of course, book a reading, and I got you. All right. Because you'll be dealing with the chart elements to Saturn and Pluto. You're dealing with Chiron, all right, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Remember, those are some of the aspects you can look into. Um, Hold on. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all
Yes,
hear
we
me?
can hear you.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
big.
good.
All right, big. I want to make sure. Let me get back to this thing over here. All right. Now, if anything happen, please yell out, open up y'all mic if something goes awry here. Mercury is coming out of retrograde, so ain't no telling what might happen. All right.
I got my
So of course,
I
go
got
ahead.
my
Who's that?
I got my niece ride with me, my Leo niece, and she is really involved right
Hey, Niecy. Gratitude for you being here.
now. Already.
I'm glad she's benefiting from it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Now we're gonna get into these ascendant signs. All right. Now, y'all know, with the ascendant signs, this can dictate a lot of the order of the chart. Remember, your ascendant sign is how you see the world and how the world sees you. So for some of you who might not be familiar with astrology, a lot of people call this your big three. All right, your sun, moon, rising, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, like me, I'm a Sagittarius rising with a Gemini sun and a Scorpio moon. All right. Your rising sign is not just your rising. This ascendant sign actually dictates the whole order of your chart. If you joined my workshops before, you know I talk on this all the time. So a lot of people only do readings based off of house lords and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So when you open up this dynamic of understanding your birth chart as a part of you and not something that is separate from you, and how you're expressing these things, right? This can give you a huge view and a glimpse off into why you do some of the things you do and why you go through some of the things you go through in some of the areas of your life. But remember, this can only dictate the influences of a lot of your experiences, but your free will is yours. It is your God given right to choose in this life. All right. Now, when you're dealing with the ascendant, of course, this is going to explore kind of how the transits influence you as an individual across the 12 ascendant signs, examining the impact and the relevant astrological houses, offering insight into the spiritual, emotional, and practical dimensions. So the full moon, of course, that's the thing that we're dealing with. Of course, those are some of the things I had to always list the things of what we got going on. So, of course, remember, I won't go through all of them, giving the whole breakdown. Remember, y'all had a PDF. You can look over this and find your ascendant. That way, it'll help me out on time as well. But I will kind of graze through them as well. I kind of speak over some of the general aspects. But the Aries ascendant, because you have an Aries ascendant, that means you have Libra in the seventh house. So, what this is going to show is based off of your ascendant sign, where your Libra house Lord is. So I don't care if I don't care what you are as your sun sign. All right. That don't matter with this. Your ascendant sign is going to dictate and influence where you experience the energy of Libra and what house your Libra energy rules over. So I'm giving you a glimpse off into what you can look into and what house based off of your ascendant. If you're Aries ascendant, the full moon will be transiting in your seventh house. There's partnerships, one-on-one relationships. All right. And of course, there's some breakdown of the other aspects. So there's relationship opportunities to address, heal the dynamics and close partnerships. Now, a lot of you may even hear this because a lot of time with the ascendant, this can apply to your sun, your moon, or your rising. So even if you are Aries, sun, moon, or rising, you might hear some of this and apply to it, right? So don't hesitate, even if you don't resonate or if you don't have an Aries as an ascendant. You might be an Aries moon sign. You might have got a lot of stuff in the first house. All right. Everybody's ascendant sign starts in the first house anyway. So I would suggest that everybody understand this Aries energy because nobody's going to be able to avoid this. Everybody on this Western Hemisphere is going to be dealing with first house activity under this full moon and the sun. All right. Only because the sun is in Aries. So it's going to illuminate all things Aries for everybody, even if you are on an Aries. All right. So, since your ascendant dictates the order of your chart, the Taurus ascendant would mean that the moon would be transiting in your sixth house. This is what Libra would be for you. All right. So, this puts Libra in your sixth house, the house of Virgo. It's going to be an emphasis on health and daily routines and service. All right. Now, that's going to be the health impact, potential to address even psychosomatic issues. So, there can be overthinking, kind of caught up in the psychosomatic shit. So, somatic healing through senses and all that good stuff. All right, financial insights, all that kind of stuff. Gemini ascendants, all right, you're going to be dealing with the full moon, will be transiting your fifth house because Libra rules your fifth. That is the house of Leo. There's going to be a highlight on creativity and romance and self expression, self judgment of your creative outputs and all that good stuff could arise, okay? So the Cancer ascendant will be dealing with the moon transiting in the fourth house. That's the house of Cancer. All right. So since you have Libra ruling over your fourth house, this is going to be dealing with focusing on home, family, emotional foundations. It's also going to be dealing with family dynamics and opportunities to address and heal from familial relationships. All right. Now, when you're dealing with the Leo ascendant is going to be bringing in a lot of the understanding. Um, of you bringing in the dynamics of my bad, let me get my drink over here. The Leo ascendant is gonna bring it in understanding the impact in your third house, the house of Gemini, communication, emphasis on communication, siblings, and local community. So this is gonna shine a light on balance between giving and receiving in your relationships for you, Leo, and also how you communicate the matters of your heart. All right. Now, when you deal with the Virgo ascendant, this is going to mean that the moon is transiting your second house. This is what Libra rules your second house, focusing on self worth and income and values. All right. It's also going to deal with finances and security, old survival fears, imposter syndrome, emotional transparency, all that good stuff for you, Virgo risings. Libra risings, you will be dealing with the moon be transiting in your first house. All right. So it's going to be a powerful combination in the self identity and how you are seen. So wounds from relationships, codependencies, abandonments could be triggered with this self worth relationships versus self worth versus relationships, finding your voice, even value apart from others, people pleasing, all that good stuff. Okay. So when you're dealing with the mirror work and all that, of course you can see what's out here. Mirror work, some rituals here for y'all and everything for based off the ascendant. Now the Scorpio rising. we'll be dealing with the full moon transiting your 12th house. That's where Libra will rule over for you. This is going to deal with an emotional release, even from your unconscious dreams or past life karmas. You could definitely be going through some type of detox energy as well. All right. And you see the biological aspect, chronic pain, fatigue, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of y'all with Scorpio risings are going through a lot of chronic pain and fatigue because that's the spiritual congestion. All right. So this is where you get the dream journaling, even detoxification of emotional and physical. It can incorporate herbs for the lymphatic system. All right. So even creative art and emotional deep truths is gonna be good. And a lot of sexual healing could be good for Scorpio risers too. So it's just kind of how the energy plays out. Now, Sagittarius ascendant, all right, you're gonna be dealing with the full moon transit in your 11th house. Okay, this is where your Libra rules your 11th house. All right, this is gonna be illumination or illuminates around friendships and networks and long-term dreams and all that good stuff, right? Things that you want to do over long term. Creative healing, channeling your story through dance and poetry and theater. The Capricorn ascendant, all right, is going to deal with the moon transit in your 10th house. This is where Libra is going to be ruling over. That's going to be focusing on career, legacy, and visibility. Getting outside, okay? I'm going to push you outside, Capricorn risings. It's going to be a work-life balance, burnout, even getting out of your head, wounds tied to family, safety, emotional security, all that kind of stuff. Ancestral healing, working on repairing or reparenting the inner child. Aquarius risings, right? The full moon will be transiting your ninth house, okay? That is where your Libra rules. This is going to be highlighting spiritual beliefs, higher learning, and long distance journeys. And this is also going to be dealing with mental overloads, needing to sort things out through beliefs, especially that no longer resonate, dealing with that people pleasing and all that good stuff. Pisces ascendant, full moon will be in the eighth house for you. This is where Libra rules over in your chart. This is going to bring transformation through emotional intimacy and sexuality and shared resources for you, Pisces risings. All right. Now remember, this could also relate to you as a sun sign or whatever the case may be. But take what relates, all right, and leave the rest. And of course, you see there's a lot to read through when it comes to that. But understanding some of these fated events, how the collective theme is going to be around, like basically dealing with healing integration. All right. So there's going to be a lot of spiritual and emotional influences. It's kind of the integration that's happening. That's the Aries Libra axis, the warrior, and the lover axis. The pink moon asks, how do you balance independence with interdependence? Chiron and Aries expose the wound of I am not enough. Or I might fight, I must fight to survive. Libra seeks harmony, but also forces us to confront where we are dishonest for the sake of peace. I ain't tell the truth because I knew it was gonna start some stuff, and sometimes that causes more conflict than it does peace. All right. The mundane aspects and the biological influences, the nervous system is under strain. So the adrenal fatigue, insomnia, and tension are likely to kind of deal with the skin the skin, kidneys, the Libra energy, the head, the muscles, Aries, right, may be sensitive. Okay. So unprocessed rage, heartbreak, and abandonment issues are surfacing to be released. That's why I say a lot of people are ticking time bombs. All right. So sudden breakups or reunions, career pivots into more hard aligned paths, long standing inner conflicts reach clarity. People been into it for a long time. I literally just heard a story about a young man's father killed another man's cousin. Now the cousin, one of the cousins from a distant, like they, one of the son of the man cousin who got killed the son of the man who killed the other cousin. I know that sounds confusing, but it was like a whole karmic loop. It's like it was just crazy to me the way it sounded, but very indicative of what you can see. Like you can even see this with family lineages playing out. My family ain't never got along with this family type shit, right? Even issues that are going on inside of the family dynamic. All right. So solutions to integrate into the peak moon energy, right? You got the sacred releases, burning old patterns, burn old letters, you know what I'm saying, all the old habits, all that good stuff. So tap into that. We want to get rid of some of that old energy and let it go. All right. Now here's a breakdown for the sun signs, of course. All right. Now, of course, I'll just go over some of the themes and what it's going to kind of deal with. But this is going to be activating a lot of spiritual themes of inner versus outer alignment. The Libra moon calls for harmony and relational balance, all right? And we talked about how the Aries conflicts the self, pushing personal sovereignty, healing the wound. With Chiron, the wounded healer at the center of this lunation, activates a collective and personal wounds, particularly around worthiness, self doubt, or people pleasing, and fear of being seen. Venus direct, after deep reflection on values and love, relationships shift, heart and money matters come into sharp clarity. Mundane and emotional influences, relationship crisis and awakening. The moon, the Libra moon wants compromise, right? Aries says, I am, okay? Expect tension between dependency and self assertion. Now, imposter syndrome and visibility. Many will be forced to confront ways they self abandon to be accepted. That illusion of inclusion, they're trying to get along, they're trying to be seen and trying to be heard, right? Trying to acclimate yourself to somebody else's shit that ain't got nothing to do with you. And that tension that's coming with that don't want to compromise, don't want to realize that everything ain't always about you. There's a time and place for everything. You can't always go to war. I've been telling you, I mean, you could just see it playing out. People aren't willing to compromise. You might die right there during this time. I'm gonna tell you straight up. Like people ain't playing right now. So be very mindful of conflicts, y'all. If you could, if you, it ain't about turning no other cheek, but god damn it, if you understand the energies that's at play and you ain't ready to die for some shit, just be mindful of what's about to come out your mouth. Cause this time is gonna stick. If you ain't standing for something, you're gonna fall for anything. And at the same damn time, a coward dies 1,000 deaths and a soldier lives but once. One of the best things you can do is learn how to live to fight another goddamn day. Okay. So a lot of times imposter syndrome and being forced to confront a lot of these things is gonna be very powerful for people. And then with people who don't want to deal with the internal conflicts, it's natural that they walking around just ticking time bombs, like I said earlier. So that self worth, especially with Venus and Pisces, the potential to clear old money patterns, right? Healing old emotional scarcity. So the nervous system, remember, Libra rules the kidneys and all the lower back. So that pressure may increase stress, dehydration, the back pain. Aries rules the head, the face, headaches, migraines, nervous exhaustion. Venus rules sugar balances and the throat chakra. All right. Pisces influence on the lymphatic system and immune system, so you can feel sluggish right now. All right. So being
Mhm.
mindful of the sugar, all right, being mindful of because right now the sugar could have a different reaction in your body. Imagine you've been eating the same
Mhm.
sweets for a long time, but during this transit, during this full moon, you fuck around and eat your favorite sweet and it triggers some shit. I'm just telling you to listen to your body. All right. Some of us got certain shit we eat every night. I'm gonna tell you, for me, I used to have to eat now laters every goddamn night. Every night I went to the store and I bought some damn now laters and I chewed them packs down. All right. So whatever it is that's a habit for you that I'm gonna eat this for I gotta eat this for I do this for you know what I'm saying? Like substitute the sweets with fruit. All right. So just be mindful of the sweets right now because it's gonna have a different impact on your nervous system during this full moon energy. At least wait about 4 or 5 days. Okay. All right. Now, if you ain't had this sweet in a while, okay, totally different polarity. And if you've been craving the sweets, you ain't been eating this stuff, but all type of you craving the sweets, go ahead and enjoy it. Your spiritual journey go better with ice cream. Promise you that. Okay. So when you deal with this impact, all right, making sure also, I would just say stay away from foods that give you that itis. This is best I can tell you. Foods that take away your energy, they're not going to be conducive in your system right now. Foods that add and make you feel good and give you energy, eat more of that, okay? And if you do eat shit that takes away your energy, just try to do it in moderation, all right? So as you can see, here's a breakdown for the sun signs. Aries will be more focused on identity. Taurus will be focused on health. Gemini will be focused on creative expression. Leo will be focused on communication, mindset. Virgo will be like focusing on worth, money, resources. Libra will be about self versus others and identity rebirth. Scorpio is going to be about karma and ending, spiritual healing. Sagittarius is going to be about community, dreams, and belonging, fear of not fitting in, all that good stuff. Capricorn is going to be about focus, career, and purpose and leadership. That burnout could be a challenge. Aquarius is going to be about focusing on higher learning, truth, belief systems. Pisces is going to be about focusing on transformation and intimacy and shared resources. All right. So this is the sun signs. Remember, go into the PDF, look at your sun sign, see what resonates. Of course, you see all the other breakdowns I have there that can help you out with that. And here's a cosmic theme for all the signs. You can see it's going to be karmic relationship, old soul ties returning, occurring, inner union, integration of masculine Aries and feminine Libra energies. All right. This is the dance between masculine and feminine, baby. You understand? So the faded choices, destiny crossroad due to eclipse portals. So it can be like a lot of people can feel like they're at a crossroads right now. Just remember, all roads lead back to source. Choose the path that can be the most uncomfortable and probably be the shit you need to be doing. Long as it's not familiar. Try to get away from familiarity and moving into the unknown. Just learn this about trusting yourself always and always. So facing what you project onto others and reclaiming self-responsibility. So that's gonna be huge. A lot of people won't be able to reflect that, so they'll rather kick you out. They'll rather just block you. They'll rather just reject you because they don't want to do the mirror work and you showing up in their life. Put some mirror in front of their ass. So, yeah, of course, I'll reject you too if I don't like looking in the mirror at my own shit. All right. So you can see a lot of these solutions embracing the call to sovereignty. Reflect on where you've abandoned your needs for harmony. Reclaim self trust. Micro actions of courage. Shadow work prompts. Where do I betray myself to be loved or accepted? I paused on that for dramatic effect. What part of me still believes I'm not enough? What am I afraid will happen if I fully express who I am? Who you scared of? Who gonna check you, boo? Fuck them people. The tools, all right. Of course, you see Rose and Yarrow, right? This is gonna be Hawthorne. That's like a T for heart nourishing and emotional courage. If you are dealing with heart issues or any type of high blood pressure, that T can help you out tremendously. Okay. So journaling, of course, do your research on the T. Yarrow is probably the only one I would say do some research on. If you're on any medications or whatever the case may be, if you prescribed anything by your doctor, please consult your physician and do not mix any herbal teas with over-the-counter medications, nor would I suggest you mix them with prescribed medications. Okay, that was your PSA and my disclaimer. All right. Now, when you're dealing with the final integration, rising sovereignty, the pink moon opens a portal of emotional maturity and self trust. All right, the soul alignment with Venus direct and Chiron in play. The invitation to transmute wounds into wisdom and rewrite the story of self worth. So it's a collective invitation to end people pleasing, reclaiming your voice, make decisions from embodied worthiness, and step into your purpose with power, not perfection. Step into it with power, not perfection. You ain't got to be perfect to be powerful. You ain't got to be perfect to know your power. You ain't got to be perfect to display your power. Just be who the fuck you are. All right, that's your power. Now, of course, y'all know I got the moon signs here. All right. So, of course, it's going to be the same thing. The themes are not going to change here, but this is going to be dealing with emotional lessons and integration. So, each moon sign reveals how your inner world is being recalibrated during this lunation. All right. So, here's how each sign would be affected. Where it's asking for healing and what integration looks like. Because remember, your moon sign is your nature. All right. So, Aries moon, identity and codependency. Taurus moon, safety and stagnation. Gemini moon, disconnection and authentic expression. Cancer moon, nurturing versus emotional enmeshment. Leo moon, self worth versus validation. Virgo moon, perfectionism versus emotional authenticity. Libra moon, harmony versus self abandonment. Scorpio moon, which is me. Control versus emotional intimacy. All right, I'm gonna end the zone right here. No, I'm just playing. Now, Sagittarius moon. Freedom versus emotional presence. Capricorn moon. Control versus vulnerability. Aquarius moon, independence versus emotional disconnection. Pisces moon, empathy versus boundaries. Of course, y'all see there's more to dive into here dealing with these moon signs. Y'all see the breakdown, y'all see how deep it can get. All right, so of course, explore your moon sign. All right, get off into that. What's going on with you? All right, are you dealing with fear, betrayal, and abandonment? Are you dealing with shame and needing support as a Sagittarius moon? Are you dealing with emotional repression and survival mode and conditioning? Remember, your moon is your connection to your mother. So a lot of your wound is not belonging to emotionally or feeling emotionally exiled. That's why a lot of Aquarius moons, your relationship with your mama, y'all can be like best friends more than you are mother and daughter or mother and son. So remember, this is a reflection of your relationship with your mother, which is a reflection of relationship with your emotions. Anybody got any questions over Sun Moon Rising? Anything before I go into this next part? I bet. Now we gonna get off into this next part because we're about to go into ain't that beautiful? Ain't that picture beautiful? Boy, AI got down with that one. I love that one. Now, this is Tahuti and Mayat. All right. So this is you know, it's a trip because when it's hit me, when I started to feel the need to talk over this, to speak about this, it was just really letting me know about this initiation and the power of the heart chakra and where we are within this energy and that surge of energy related to the heart chakra, where the things of balance, love, justice are emphasized. In the context of Ma'at, an ancient Cometian or Egyptian goddess who symbolizes cosmic balance, order, and justice, her energy aligns deeply with the principles of Libra, the astrological sign most associated with relationships, fairness, and harmony. This full moon's influence invites an inspiration of these qualities, particularly how they relate to the matters of the heart and living authentically in truth, which ultimately leads to the liberation and the personal empowerment. We will explore the attributes of Maya and how her energy can be accessed and harmonized with the chakras, especially focusing on the heart chakra. Additionally, we will look into how the energies of Tahuti, Thoth, the god of wisdom and communication, relate to Mayat's balance as well as their connection to the halls of Amentai. The esoteric space representing transformation and spiritual ascension. So we're gonna dive into the halls of Amentai. I told y'all we were going deep in this workshop. All right. Now, these halls of a mentor is going to be very dynamic when it comes to the attributes and the principles of what we're dealing with. So, the embodiment of divine laws of balance, truth, and justice and harmony. So, the mythology, she was said to govern, right, between balance and between order and chaos in the universe. And her principles are truth. I, Maya represents truth, living in alignment with the truth. It represents the importance of living authentically, especially during the full pink moon when emotions and intentions related to love and relationships come to the surface. To live in truth is to be fully aligned with one's highest self and purpose, from free from self-deception. So you see what I've been saying. Authenticity is a higher expression in love. You see what I'm saying? Like, so you see why? Because when you living in that, love is not what you do; it's what you become. Because when you're not living in the self deception, no longer will people around you be able to reflect that onto you. So Bayat's symbol of the feather of truth, which is also used in judgment of the soul in the afterlife. The feather is weighed against the heart, and it is to the deceased, to the measure of whether the heart was light or heavy with sin. And astrology, Libra ruled by Venus, also emphasized the need for balance, whether in a relationship, emotional states, or personal energy. All right. Now, this Philippine moon is an intense release of emotions, creates an opportunity to recalibrate personal imbalances and achieve harmony. See, that has a lot to do with what's being judged, the density of the heart. The feather, I was an aspect of being able to dissipate energy. That's why a bird is able to fly. It's like kinetic energy. All right. And when you're dealing with the heart or when you're dealing with the body, the density and how we can hold energy versus how we dissipate it. The feather releases energy, the heart stores it. All right. So that's why to make your heart light as a feather means you're releasing something, allowing it to go back to the realm from which it came. All right. So a lot of these laws, right, the embodiment of divine justice, would not just in terms of law or punishment, it is the cosmic order in which includes fairness, integrity, and the righting of wrongs. The full pink moon may bring situations that highlight imbalance both within and outside of oneself, giving opportunity to restore harmony and align with the higher truths of justice. Harmony. Mayat also represents the flow of harmony, which is achieved through the alignment of thought, speech, and action. This is why the heart ignites mind, body, and spirit. During the full pink moon, this is an ideal time to work with communication, work on communication, clearing the throat chakra, and ensuring that our outer world reflects our inner truth and balance. The balance reflects in as above, so below, as within, so without. All right. So Libra and the heart chakra that connects to Ma'at, ruled by Venus, associated with the seventh house of relationships and partnerships and balance. The heart chakra Anahata is also linked to those themes of love, harmony, connection, and compassion. Libra's energy resonates with this chakra because of the signs of balance between self and others. Much like the balance that Libras influence, right? Because the heart must maintain between giving and receiving love. You see what I'm saying? Because when you're dealing with too much of a open heart center, right? Somebody who feels too much, curs too much, crying all the goddamn time, overly sensitive. You can't get shit done because everything fucking bothers you, and you care about everybody. You pull over on side the road because you see every bum out there needs some money. You don't want to walk around like that. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's good to be loving, but then it's a healthy balance with that too. All right. So that has a lot to do with that maintaining between giving and receiving love. And a lot of people done gave so much love that where they don't even know how to receive it. Trying to receive love comes with your guards up. It comes with hesitation, trepidation. Because I've been betrayed here. See? So Libra's influence during this full peak moon would be about emotional transformation. The Libra energy during the full moon invites us to transform how we approach relationships and emotions. It calls for emotional balance, healing, and the release of any negative emotional patterns that prevent us from experiencing unconditional love, baby. If the conditions are constantly dictating how you feel, you don't know unconditional love. The unconditional love is about no longer allowing anything outside of you to dictate how loving you remain. That means if even it's a love for your own preservation, Aries, a love for your own survival, Mars, or when your survival fails in comparison to somebody else. This is why the red and the blue together, which represents both sides of the heart, the ventricles of the heart, red and blue creates purple, which is the anahata, which is the ultimate energy of self-sacrifice, why you get a purple heart in the army. So heart healing. This full moon highlights wounds related to love and fairness in relationships. Libra's energy combined with Mayat's principles encourages us to weigh our heart's intentions and actions against the feather of truth, and we are living in truth, living in balance. Now, this time, right, bringing to the surface deep emotional matters that need healing, forgiveness, and release. Mayat's influence during this full moon asks us to release grudges, negative emotions, and judgments, whether about ourselves or others. Like I love to say, drop the charges on you, drop the condemnation on you. Then you can do that for somebody else. Libra balance energy brings the opportunity to forgive and heal. Forgiveness is for you, healing is for you. Restoring harmony in our relationships and within our own hearts. So, self reflection is very big with this. Libra also encourages self reflection in the realms of partnerships. How can we ensure that we are being true to ourselves while also creating harmony with others? Are we compromising too much in a relationship? These are questions that could arise during the full pink moon as we seek balance and truth. And remember, this can be with your job, your relationship, with how you balance anything out outside of you, and that could be causing you internal conflict. So Tahuti and Ma'at connects to the chakras and the house of Amenti, because Tahuti, also known as Thoth, the Egyptian god of wisdom, writing, and communication, plays a pivotal role in supporting Ma'at's cosmic balance. He is divine. He is a divine scribe, all right, the one who records the truth of the universe and communicates the divine order. His energy is connected to the higher wisdom of clarity of mind and the ability to discern truth and qualities that are crucial for integration of Mayat's principle during this full moon. This is why you will see Tahuti defined as an ibis, the bird that is scribing, right? Because that ibis bird is known to shift in the dirt and it look like it's writing, right? So this is why you will see in a hieroglyphs, Tahuti's always standing on the side when somebody's being judged. And he got that um that papyri in his hand. Like he's been scribing your life. Your mind is aware of everything you do. This is why they say you can fool half the people, half the time, but all the people, none of the time. Because you is one of them people. People be thinking they're getting away with shit. The ultimate place you have to lie is to your goddamn self. That's the only place the lie gonna start. Then you got to convince other people of that. I'm telling you, I used to be real good at lying. So I'm a Gemini. See, this is why people say Geminis lie. And when you're dealing with the aspects of the chatter, the mind, so a lot of times this becomes a compulsive act, just saying shit. See, this is why every thought doesn't represent the truth. Thought. See, this is why if you think, you do not know. So when you hear somebody say they think some shit, that's just basically saying they don't know it. So to think something and to give somebody a thought is basically formulating an opinion. It's not a fact. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all see how this plays out? So being able to understand the connection between what is truth versus what you think. Because what you think can fail in comparison to what the truth actually is. So that's why the aspect of dealing with the throat chakra, right? And the cosmic balance, understanding, right, that wisdom of communication and how Mayat's cosmic balance of that's a pivotal supporting role for Mayat, right? Because he is the divine scribe and one who records the truth of the universe and communicates the divine order. So his energy is connected to higher wisdom, clarity of mind, and the ability to discern truth qualities. A lot of people have lost their discernment. You ain't even know when somebody lying to you. And a lot of people have lost their discernment because they can't even handle the goddamn truth, you know? So when you bring this about and understand the power of who you are, all right, yeah, y'all can see somebody done called me here. Hold on. Let me make sure I end this call. All right. So when you understand the aspect of truth and divine balance, all right, let me get back to this right quick, y'all. All right. When you get back to this aspect of divine balance and you understand the power of who you are, hold on, I gotta get back to this screen, y'all. Understand the power of who you are. You would truly, really know that as we move, there is a whole aspect of learning about the power of perception. All right. So that power of perception is gonna come up a lot in the themes of what we're dealing with right now. All right. So hold on, let me get back to this screen, y'all. It's over tripping. All right, hold on here. Okay, yeah. Oh, let me get back because I done got to the screen, but now I ain't sharing with y'all. Let me get back over. Okay, there it is. Okay. Okay. Screen share where you at? Boom. Bam. Bam. Had a little 5 minute break real quick. All right, here we go. So Tahuti and Ma'at and represent the connection to the chakras and the house of Mentai. Like But that connection to higher wisdom and clarity of mind is all about why Gemini loves to make things make sense. So you got to understand Mercury is the mischievous, the curious one, the curiosity of the mind. See, curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. That's the balance of my eye. Okay. All right. So Mayat is like that equal sign. She is something led you to this experience. Something wanted to manifest. Some energy had to express itself, right? So in order to find balance, a lot of times we must understand what chaos is. In order for you to know the polarity of something, how can you know good without bad? How can you know right without wrong? How can you know love without hate? You feel what I'm saying? See, once you understand the polarities, you can understand why the pendulum of the mind, how that can be something that you can access that'll no longer sway. To move with clarity and to move with confidence becomes with the ability to discern truth. So that is crucial for the integration of Mayat's principles during this full moon. Cause the connection to your throat chakra, the Vidishuddhi, that governs the area of the center of communication. So that energy helps you speak your truth with clarity and integration. So during this full pink moon, this chakra is activated, encouraging us to express our heart's desire. I told y'all Mercury is going direct. You think this is a coincidence during this full moon? So your heart's desires, being able to speak your truth, and the restrictions are being removed. See, everything that you went through over these past 22 days, right, was the culmination of every part of yourself that needed to speak up for yourself. And now here you are, been doing this work, and now your throat chakra feels more active, which your immune system should feel more acclimated and more vibrant. This could be also activating the third eye because which is governing wisdom and understanding higher, right? And also reaching, right, what we call what resonates with the third eye, because this chakra is essential for perceiving truth and recognizing illusion, right? And gaining insight. So Maya, through Tahuti's guidance, asks us to see things clearly and trust in our ability to discern truth. So your ability to know bullshit when you hear it should be increasing on a simple level for a lot of y'all who might I don't know what he talking about. Okay, I'm just messing with y'all. But you should be able to understand more bullshit when you hear it. All right. So you let your discernment increase and trust it. All right. That's one thing about it. So the house of a mentor and accessing the energy of transformation, the house of a mentor is said to be the sacred house in the underworld where the souls undergo purification and a transformation where they ascend to the afterlife. They are linked, often linked to the spiritual rebirth and enlightenment. In a metaphysical sense, the house of a mentor is symbolic of the process of spiritual awakening and accessing divine wisdom. I know y'all seen the Black Panther, right? And y'all seen where T'Chaka, right? He was dying. He was in the underworld, and y'all seen where Angela Bassett, right? Her and the sister, the daughter, they were doing a ritual. Angela Bassett said, "I call on Sigmet. I called on Basit. Now, if y'all was in the workshop where we went on Lilith and these divine principles, we talked about Sigmet and Basit. Now, the house of a mentor on that movie Black Panther, just to give y'all a visual depiction of how they show us this in movies all the time. One of the most beautiful depictions was when he was in the underworld, or he was in the ancestral plane, and he spoke with his father, and they was under the tree, and they all popped up as panthers and shit, right? And then they transformed him to actual human beings, and he was dead the whole time. But it seemed like he went and got wisdom from his father. That can represent the house of a mentor. There's a couple other movies that kind of show this as well, about the heart being weighed on a scale, all type of stuff. So you'll see a lot of this playing out. I just want to make you mindful on how they use these energies of esoterics inside of movies. You know, we be thinking somebody done came up with this, but this is the hero's journey played out over and over again. All right. So that's why when you're dealing with Tahuti being divine wisdom and all that good stuff and undergoing the power of the self and transcending, all right. So when you're dealing with the energy of imaging the feather and using Tahuti's wisdom to guide in your decisions, and embracing the hero's journey, and the full pink moon invites you to examine your journey and reclaim the parts of you that have been hidden and suppressed. The energy of Mayat and Tahuti helps you to balance your inner masculine and feminine energies, restoring harmony in relationships and align with your divine truth. Use this moon to recalibrate your path and heal any unresolved emotional wounds. Okay. So here's a breakdown to help you understand, for people who don't understand who Tahuti or what this energy is. It represents divine intelligence and wisdom, writing and language and hieroglyphs. This is what the Cometians, one of the first deities. This can be found as Papa Legba. You can see this energy as it's other, other energies are paid out as, but the gateway, the process of the mind. You can see this as Ganesh when you deal with the Eastern culture. There's a lot of different ways you'll see this Tahuti energy played out, because it's all mercurial. This is also Odin when you deal with Norse mythology. All right. So the divine intelligence, the time, the measurement, and the moon. Tahuti was once seen as the masculine principle as the moon. All right. So sacred geometry and agriculture, cosmic law and balance, dealing with Mayat, magic and alchemy can be connected to Tahuti. Initiation and death and rebirth cycles, right? The ibis, the baboon. You see the baboon on what is that? What's that movie? Lion King. You know what I'm saying? Rafiki. You know what I'm saying? Rafiki represented Tahuti. All right, how Rafiki was always guiding them, talking in riddles and shit. Like that was Mercury. He's representing Mercury. All right. So Caduceus, the tablets, Hermes, Trismegistus, Mercury, what they call the Quicksilver. You get what I'm saying? So this is dealing with the expression, the third eye wisdom, and the crown dealing with the divine mind. So the house of a mentor refers to the underworld, the inner realms, and it deals with the hidden and the multi-dimensional halls of knowledge, and also the soul records. And the Akashic, like in between lives, where the soul is judged, and also insurrected. So described in the immortablest world of thought, in the halls of a mentor, where Tahuti traveled to access universal consciousness and the laws of life, death, and resurrection, initiates the light like Tahuti, access and mental, transcending, reincarnation, right? Learning cosmic laws, awakening their divine template. So this is where the immortalities came into play, and that's why I deal with the nine lords of Amentai. This is also the guardians of the soul. This is why the Comedics believe that the soul was cut and comprised, I would say split into nine different pieces. This is cosmic law, polarity, vibration, rhythm, cause and effect. It can all be linked to the planetary force and the archetypes encoded in the natal chart. So time and immortality. Tahuti teaches that time is an illusion, that mastering time grants access to immortality in metaphysics. This is the eternal consciousness or awakening to your multidimensional nature. So the Tahuti believed time was an illusion because it's about becoming one with time. That's the energy of I am. You see this with the energy of Jonathan Mayers, right? He played the energy after that movie they created Ant-Man, and he had a lot of infinite possibilities, and he had to go back and kill one of them. So they showing a lot of this in a lot of the movies with mythology now that we're watching. All right. So when you deal with the light body activation, okay? This is also going to deal with the mental holds the secrets to the Merkaba, right? Merkaba, Ka, Ba, Ra, body, mind, soul, your light vehicle, allowing ascension beyond duality. So know thyself. Self inquiry leads to mastery. Balance, mayat, live in harmony with cosmic law. These are the spiritual meanings of this initiation of the Tahuti teachings, right? And how they correspond with the astrological aspects. Alchemy of thought, change internal vibration to alter outer world, transcend duality, merge masculine and feminine, inner and outer. There is no separation here. Time travel of the mind, master the moment to collapse timelines. The more present you are, the more your mind has to be in that moment. Every other timeline will fail to exist because you chosen to focus on the now. So these teachings are mirrored in astrology through the nodes, right? Chiron, Pluto, all right? All this can deal with all these cycles of understanding how you can deal with going through this initiation process and why it is always found in the stars and why you are never separate from astrological influences. So study natal chart reveals soul contract, karma lessons, your own book of life, all right? So the shadow work through Pluto trans aligns you with death, rebirth, alchemy of a mentai, sacred soul, sacred sound language. All right, this is gonna be dealing with the Huda the master of the word, wordsmith. All right, speaking sacred affirmations and tones, reprogram the DNA. Words create worlds. Time mastery, aligning with the cosmic lunar cycles, planetary returns, aligns you with destiny, energetic protection. Tahuti governs sacred symbols, right? The Ankh, the Eye of Horus, the Seder Square, all right, which shield and unlock consciousness, all right? The breastplate of David, all this, it's in the Bible, a lot of it's in the scripture, okay? So the hero's journey, a mentai, is the inner labyrinth of the soul, right? And it's like the myth of Osiris or Asana or Jesus. The initiate must die, right, to false self and be born and be reborn. So the astrological tools for this journey: Saturn is your trials and your karmic structure. Pluto is your descent into your underworld. All right. Now, I was asked about Pluto and Virgo earlier, right? These Pluto aspects are your descent into the underworld. I was waiting till tonight before I tapped into that. But I want you to understand that your Pluto placement is your descent into the underworld. Is how you navigate the underworld. Imagine if the underworld, Pluto, Hades, and all this good stuff, right? In mythology, Greek mythology, Hades, right? Asar deals with this in Kemetic astrology, right? And it's like if you were to go into hell or go into the realm of death and you naturally had a superpower, that is your Pluto, all right? My Pluto is in Libra. I can descend into the underworld and bring balance. Your Pluto is in Virgo. You can descend into the underworld and bring service and understanding how to bring unconditional love, and because the opposite would be Pisces. So remember, your Pluto would be encompassing of not only your Pluto sign, but the lower or the shadow side of what your Pluto is, which is just the opposite sign. All right. So Chiron is the wound, right? Wounding, becoming wisdom, turning your wounds into wisdom. Neptune, disillusion of ego illusion that can help you break any illusion that you've created for your damn self. So the North Node, the soul evolution, the pathway. So how you access this is meditation, travel. All right. So I gave y'all some accesses into the halls of a mentai. Okay. You know, that you can learn how to access through your own birth chart, through your own placements, access through your outer states of trances and lucid dreaming. Reading the natal chart is key. Your 12th house, right? Your eighth house. Your 12th house is your past life, your subconscious patterns. Your eighth house is the house of transformation, death, and rebirth. 12th house is Pisces. Eighth house is Scorpio. So if you are a Pisces or a Scorpio, you naturally live with these energies. Mercury, all right, aspects your mind's ability to decode, all right, and so sound and frequency work. So using planetary frequencies or binaural beats aligned with planetary cycles to activate light codes. If y'all been trying to figure out how to activate light codes, I just gave you a key. I hope y'all ain't missing these gems. Now, come on now, all right. So using planetary binaural beats with planetary cycles to activate light codes. Meaning, if Neptune is heavy right now, because we got Pisces North Node and you got Mercury heavy right now with Virgo in the South Node. Well, why not use some Pisces, some Mercury, some Virgo, some tunes, some hertz that align with these planetary energies. All right. So I'm just giving you a way to access them. So rituals align with this, of course, how you can access it. There it is. There you go with some of that. Because this activates a lot of when you're dealing with self versus other, karma versus choice, so contract versus free will. So this lunar event acts as a mirror portal into the inner halls of a mentai, especially for those with Pluto, South Node, or Chiron that are being triggered. that if your Pluto, your North Node, or your South Node, or your Chiron is in a Libra or Aries axis, if it's in the first to seventh house, or if you have Pluto, Chiron, or Libra, Pluto or Chiron in Libra, Pluto or Chiron in either one of these signs is going to be heavily influencing you in these areas. All right. So sudden access to knowledge, dreams and visions is gonna come into place. Realization of karmic ties and relationships are called to release illusions and speak truth. All right. And of course, you see this the pathways to practice, alchemy of thought, journaling and affirmations, sacred geometry, meditate on the flower of life or the macabre, work with the lunar transits, cycles and eclipses, initiation, go through conscious ego death. All right, that means that realize where you're ego sensitive, what fucks with you. You know what I'm saying? Using dream work, past life regression, and astrology to retrieve soul fragments. So channeling oracle work, astrology, and cardology. All right, so it's a beautiful time to get a reading or tap into whatever aspects about yourself that you want to tap into. So of course, you'll see also Tahuti dealing with the things of Mercury, Hermes, Uranus, the sudden shift, the moon, memory and mystery and cycles of consciousness. All right, the house of a mentai, the inner library of immortal knowledge, according to the Emerald Tablets. The house of a mentai exists beneath the earth in the interdimensional world, not a place of death, but a realm of renewal, where the soul's journey between incarnations and masters persevere in ancient wisdom. Now, when you preserve ancient wisdom, now symbolically, the house of mentai represents the subconscious mind, the akashic records, the hidden chamber of the DNA, awaiting activation. Thought speaks on placing the house of a mentai beneath the sphinx, hidden from ordinary perception. Now, impossible, but possible, but accessible to initiates, making the Giza Plateau not just a tomb site, but a spiritual energy grid and a cosmic antenna. Also making your connection. Y'all done heard me say this before. Virgo is the head of the Sphinx. Leo is the body. Accessing that is understanding your connection with Leo and Virgo, your animalistic nature and your everyday routines. All right. How you acclimate yourself to what you want to do, what's in your heart, and how you're moving in that as well. All right. So let's not lose that sight that this is happening inside of you, even though going to the Giza Plateau and in that area will be a cosmic antenna because why else are the pyramids there? But you also have a spine, you also have DNA, you can also access any aspect of memory through the right practices, the right words, the right breath work. You feel what I'm saying? So there is a such thing as a righteous path to take, and that's why when you deal with the duat, all right, and this is what you call the duat or the underworld, all right, the interdimensional underworld is also going to deal with this aspect of being able to kind of find the self and also being able to kind of acclimate that to this aspect of being able to find the new you in a way. Hold on, I'm gonna get back to the screenshot, y'all. Trying to find a new you in a way. All right. So a lot of us are accessing the new us, you know what I'm saying, through an aspect of finding ourselves and all that good stuff. So navigating through the duat, the underworld, the sacred path of the soul, travels out to death, but also the spiritual terrain explored in dreams, right? Alter states and ritual initiation. So the 12 gates are the 12 zodiac signs. The seven halls are the seven planetary spheres are the seven chakras. The rivers, the energy, the currents, the blood pathways, the serpent, the guardians, the DNA, the Kundalini energy. The recently discovered kind of the tunnels under those chambers, the pyramids, mirror the duat, a literal architectural as above, so below representation of the soul's evolutionary path. That's why it stores energy and it conducts it. And it's also dealing with a lot of piezoelectricity. But I'll save that for another day. I actually just listened to one of the good brothers kind of do a dissertation on that the other day, dealing with Alkebalon. Now, when you're dealing with the emerald tablets and the keys to ascension, Written from the perspective of thought, the Emerald Tablet describes the transmutation of the self, the balance of the inner spirit and matter, the use of sound, vibration, and sacred geometry for awakening. The house of Amentai is a cosmic initiation ground, right? The Emerald Tablet quotes, deep in the earth's heart, right, lie the house of Amentai. Far neath the islands of the sunken Atlantis, man is in the process of changing to forms that are not of this world. These writings are meant to seed the DNA of future generations with the codes of remembrance, just much like the cylinders, right? Which is kind of acting as solenoid switches. The geometric constructs beneath the Giza may be reawakening now to those prepared to perceive them. So all those shafts, like its strategies or stargates, DNA keys. All right, that's kind of It's kind of the recent claims of the eight. Um, those what they found in there. It's like the eight is infinity, resurrection, the oak dot. It kind of dealing with the eight primordial deities. The cube is 80 meters. Sagittarian wisdom, the building block for matter, earth. The spiral DNAs. I ain't want to go off in too deep into that and kind of take some of y'all too far into some scientific stuff, but all this has a lot to do with how them folks knew how to mimic our bodies. The pyramid is just like your body. All right. The pyramid is literally the head. It's like a whole grid, right? Your body is the grid, your body's the head. You got organs up there, you got organs in your body, you got all these different things that can show you um different aspects of the self and how you can kind of acclimate new consciousness and awaken that each day, right? By igniting certain things and sparking certain things. All right, new consciousness, new ways of feeling, seeing. All this is integration. So there may be an Atlantean initiation centers holographically embedded into the earth, right, to activate collective memory and spiritual DNA at a specific cosmic intervals, such as the current eclipses and the pink moon portal. So hey, they wrote about this, right? The Mayans that said that this would be the time of the Great Awakening, the time. It's like they talked about these times. Like, so why wouldn't certain ancestral energies know how to? I know if y'all don't, I know this might sound like some Indiana Jones stuff, right? But when you understand that when certain things come into alignment, how certain things are revealed. We just had a huge piece of ice break away from the ice wall, the ice chunk in Alaska that revealed sea life that they didn't even know existed. You feel what I'm saying? Like nothing is coincidence, y'all. All right. So when you talking about something to be activated and activating collective memory, that's on a collective level. It ain't just about us. All right. So that's why you'll see a lot of these astrological connections and being able to use your birth chart because Pluto and Aquarius is going to be revealing hidden networks, awakening ancient technologies. Saturn and Neptune is going to be dreams becoming architecture, divine memory stored. The North Node and the South Nodes, destiny is going to be lies and intuition and destiny lies and intuition and mystery. Release obsessive logic and enter the dreamscape of mentai. So humanity is being prompted to reclaim hidden knowledge, not as fantasy, but as functional spiritual technology. If people can't, a lot of people be talking all these talks to y'all. I know they do a lot of these seminars and they just talking about a bunch of stuff, but not really telling you how you can access this. That's why I love to tell you exactly where you can go find these energies. Your eighth house is past life memory, soul contracts, hidden power. Your 12th house connects to the unseen, mysticism, sleep, vision, Scorpio, Pisces. North Node, your destined path, your initiation. Your Mercury, your Neptune, your Pluto, your gates to your subconscious and collective memory. Mercury, Neptune, and Pluto. Meditation with your macabre, right? Your imaginary light body, dream journaling, crystal grids beneath the moon, lapis, lazuli, moldavite, selenite. Be careful with moldavite. Very powerful. Shit, it's not even a crystal. It ain't even from this earth. It's a meteorite. All right. So reading the Emma tablets aloud. I'm gonna tell you the Emma tablets activated a light in me, and it says it in those tablets. Read them aloud or listen to the audio book. I would suggest that you do that if you're into that. It ain't something you got to do, but if you are into the Emerald tablets and you this has sparked the interest in your light, don't hesitate to go listen to those tablets. I almost felt like I was having church, right? I'm telling you, it will activate something in you when you are ready to hear those words for more than just words, words, words. So working with sound, mantra resonates with planetary frequencies. The hero's journey, the classic hero's journey, begin with the descent into the unknown and the unconscious. The house of a mentor, the spiritual underworld, where the hero dies to their ego and awakens to their divine purpose. Every hero, Osiris, Asana, Jesus, Dante, the hero travels downward into downward to ascend higher. To know yourself is to remember your immortality. Death sparks enlightenment. Every one of these messiahs, that these energies that I named, they had to die, and then their power was illuminated. Think about how they use that power in this reality. Think about how many people don't get respected till they did. You're nobody till somebody kills you. I'm saying? Biggie, baby, I don't want to die. You understand? So, of course, there's a ritual here for you to do. All right. We are now in the age of Aquarius. All right. We ain't fully in the age of Aquarius yet. But mentally, since they done convinced a lot of people that we there, we damn near there. We can grade our own field. I'm gonna tell you straight up, okay? So we are entering the age of Aquarius, and this is also going to be ruled by Uranus, the higher mind, and co-ruled by Saturn structure. The perfect era to rediscover lost structures of consciousness and technology, and the earth is speaking, and the mentai is waking. All right. So tap into this. It's like this. I'm telling you, this what I walked through with this ritual is a visual depiction of what I've learned and how I learned how to access this. All right. So that just enter the house of a mentor, because when you lay saying aloud mentally, I ground myself to the earth heart. The earth has a resonance.
Eating
And
seafood.
I heard through her. I opened the gates of divine remembrance. I feel the earth beneath you pulsing like a living earth, because the earth has a vibration. Activate the pillars of light. Visualize two radiant pillars, light into your left and your right, right? One silver luminary memory, the other gold solar clarity. Between the forms of the vortex, violate that light spiraling downward. I would have done a guided meditation to this, but everybody might not be into this deep. So I wanted to kind of respect the people who not that far into this. But for those of you who are, you can take this with you. All right. You can kind of do this as you kind of sit with yourself. I would suggest set the ambiance, light a candle, speaking to the candle. All right, print this out. All right, of course, I should print it out, look at it, read over it, learn it. I descend with the awareness. I descend to truth. I descend into the house of my eternal self. You can access your own memory. I'm giving y'all a way to access your own memory. It might take you a while. It might not work the first time, but I'm telling you, you can access your own codes, right? So you can see the vast chamber carved in obsidian, get some obsidian, goldstone. This is what they use, okay? So geometrically perfect, a sacred temple filled with symbols. The Ankh is the eye of Horus, sacred numerical maps. All right, star maps. The ceiling is a dome showing constellation. This is all in your mind. Visualize all of this, okay? Within you, the harmony of the stars and the stone come initiate. Open the seal. So go open that seal in your mind. All right. Get there. Okay. These are some things that can help you ground. Visualizing your spine is a serpent of light awakening, calling upward. Your chakras begin to pulse. All right. This is how you can kind of tap into this aspect of yourself. All right. And kind of open it up to that as well. All right. Remembering who you are, remembering where you came from. All right. Integration and return. Solution for integration. Of course, you can write this down. These are things that you can take with you. Of course, I got all that for you, and you can acclimate that for yourself. Okay. So that was something I put in there for y'all. All right. Now I'm gonna get off into this Christ consciousness aspect. All right. And this is gonna be dealing with, the Neptune, Pisces, archetypal aspect. I had to tap into this, you know what I'm saying, because of Christ consciousness, Jesus, the spiritual avatar, and all that good stuff. Pisces ruled by Neptune, planet of mysticism, illusions, unconditional love. The symbol of Pisces, the two fish swimming in opposite directions, mirrors
Why?
Jesus' duality, human and divine, servant and savior. All right, Pisces qualities, compassionate, right? Jesus healing the sick, loving the outcast, the mystical parts of the Pisces qualities, miracles, walking on water, transfiguration, the self-sacrificing parts of Pisces, crucifixion is ultimate surrender, the forgiving and inclusive parts of Pisces, loving enemies, dining with sinners. Pisces is what the fuck y'all do, okay? Y'all to dine with the sinners and be loving your enemies. I got a Pisces South Node. Trust me, I done sit across from people who I would kill.
Oh, I
I'm just
will.
being real with you. So the symbol
Okay.
of the fish, Ishti symbol used by the early Christians was also very reflective of their Neptunian energy. So this represents the dissolution of the ego, of the oneness of spirit, and the dream of divinity. Brings both redemptive spirituality and the potential for illusion, delusion, and also kind of being a martyr. You know what I'm saying? So Jesus teaches cutting through the illusion, false righteousness, judgment to reveal truth and divine love. Neptune challenges confusion between fantasy and reality, sacrificial or martyr complexes, escapism and saviorism, loss of boundaries, which Jesus mastered through conscious surrender, right? The heart chakra, the anahata, the heart as the Christ center, the heart chakra, the fourth chakra, the bridge between the lower earthly and the upper spiritual chakras. Jesus' message centered on love, compassion, forgiveness, empathy, all qualities of that awakened heart chakra. Love thy neighbor as you love yourself. See, this is direct call to the activate the heart chakra. The color green, the pink moon, breathe divine spirit, Rouch in Hebrew, Phanal, Pneuma in Greek, right? The sound Yam, the vibrational sound to open the heart, the parables of Jesus, the astrological archetype. Jesus taught in parables encoded with the multidimensional truths that reflect Neptunian symbolism. Free will, the path to spiritual evolution. The prodigal son, Luke 15:11, represents the free will return to source. That represents Neptune and Pisces, straying into illusion and separation before awakening to divine love. The hero's journey, departure, the son leaves, initiating suffering, returning, right? Reunion with the father, the source. I ain't going to talk about how this deals with the winter going into the fucking spring, you know, or the fall going into the winter. Now, the Good Samaritan, Luke 10:25, calls us to see through the boundaries and non-judgment. This is Neptunian, compassion. Spiritual practice of unconditional love transcends religious and social boundaries. Walking on water, Matthew 14:22. The metaphor of mastering emotional waves, water equals Pisces. Neptune, divine faith, surrendering to God's will. Peter's sinking shows the battle of faith versus fear. I mean, God damn it, why y'all think Peter sunk? And he told him, you will forsaken me. You understand? The essence of the spiritual journey. Jesus and the hero's journey, because the hero's journey dealing with Joseph, right? He's kind of Joseph Campbell who wrote that book, The Hero's Journey. The call to adventure, baptism and temptation. He didn't write this, okay? He just wrote that book, all right? So baptism and temptation into the wilderness. So trials and tribulation, teaching, healing, and opposition, death and rebirth, crucifixion and resurrection. Return with the elixir. That means you return with the solutions. You return with the antidote. Ascension and sending the spirit, okay? The spiritual meaning of that Jesus' life mirrors the soul's journey to descend into the materiality and the sacrifice of the ego and a return to unity. So Neptune's role, this journey requires faith without sight, trusting the invisible, and the core is a core Neptunian Piscean trait. So that's why Pisces can represent faith versus free will, right? Pisces often feels caught between fate and free will because it's mutable, right? So when you're dealing with the mutable and you deal with the porous and the prone to surrender, Jesus then is the embodiment of the higher free will, not bound by egoic choice. He chose to align with divine will, thy will be done, as it is in heaven, as it is on earth. Teaches that true free will is found in surrender, not in ego driven decision making. So this full pink moon in Christ consciousness, right? Libra rules a relationship with divine harmony, justice, and balance in the masculine and the feminine energies, reflecting on Jesus' teaching between law and grace, justice and mercy. Think about this shit, y'all. Representing the heart chakra blooming, the resurrection of love, activation of the Christ light, the lunar energies open the collective heart, inviting healing and unity, right? This transit involving Neptune and Pisces placement will amplify mysticism and sensitivity and divine love. So here is, of course, I got something you can apply this energy. You can use this. Focus on green and pink in the chest. Use affirmations. I am loved unconditionally. I forgive and am forgiven. Ain't that what people go to the Savior for? You can go to your heart for that. Through you is the way. All right. So Christ's path, is like the Christic path, the acts of compassion, selfless service, spiritual surrender, studying the parables and reflect on them astrologically, astrologically, journal on where you are on your hero's journey, right? The birth chart activation, Pisces placements, where you are called to compassion. You know what I'm saying? And Neptune transits on where you're being asked to surrender illusions, right? The heart chakra house is going to be the fourth house, the home. The house is the fifth house, the house of expression, and the 12th house is Neptune's domain. All right. So all these can deal with matters of the heart. Your fourth house, your fifth house, and your 12th house. All right. So Jesus Neptunian archetype in the age of Pisces, the embodiment of the heart chakra. See, that's why we got to need the heart chakra as we move into the knowing. If we're moving out of the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, you better come with your Jesus. It's time to find Jesus in you. It's time to get back to the kingdom. It's time to find the God in you. You understand? What are you surrendering to? What is your faith in? See, I'm not against church and religion. I just know what y'all going for. All the people that's still going. I don't gotta go no more. Cause I done found what I was looking for. See, I've been found. Yo, I was lost and now I'm found. You understand? See, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. See, Proverbs 3 and 5. That single verse is literally about that belief, right? That it is densely packed with spiritual, psychological, and cosmic wisdom. So let's unpack that line by line. Y'all know I love this shit, right? Trust in the Lord. Metaphysical transformation aligning with divine intelligence and a higher self and universal. The source of field is sometimes called the logos or the all or the divine mind. I mean, that's for you scripture heads out there, okay? This is a call to trust, right? Not in the surface world, the scene, but the unseen intelligence behind all things. It's like going to see the wizard, baby. I have a brother, my brother King was in there talking about that today. Y'all been these movies, y'all think people, these are not conversation pieces, these are energetic expressions. That's why people been talking about all this stuff. So in the body, right, this is akin to aligning with the heart or the intuition rather than conditioned mind. Your mind has been conditioned. It has been entrapped. It has been bamboozled. It has been tricked. It has been hoodwinked. It has been indoctrinated. It has been every goddamn thing you can think of. It's all happening in your head. So when you lean out on your own understanding, right? So when you talking about getting out of that human logic and ego-driven reasoning and your own understanding represents the lower mind and the rational intellect, the left brain thinking. This why in the scripture says, cast the net to the right side. Now, y'all stop playing now. Didn't it say cast the net to the right side now? To the right side. Okay. So when you get off into that call to release in the metaphysical terms, this is like that releasing control to let go of the illusion that the self alone is sovereign. To let go of the illusion that the self alone is sovereign. You alone are not sovereign. The forces that have combined to manifest as you makes you sovereign. If you're not one with those, you don't know sovereignty. That means you know escapism, another side of Pisces. See, I don't like being human. This shit is ghetto. I know I might have just snatched a couple of edges with that one. I'm sorry, y'all. I know a lot of y'all don't like this human shit. Y'all ready to go? Y'all ready for the mothership to come save you? Erica Badu, the Pisces, try to tell y'all the mothership can't save you, so your ass is gonna get left. Don't get left. All right. Not realizing that the only mothership and the only person, the only thing that can save you is you. Okay. So when you're dealing with letting go of that, even dealing with Mercury and Neptune, Mercury represents the lower mind, logic, analytical thinking. Neptune symbolizes the higher intuitive mind, mystical connection, and the spiritual perception. A lot of people think about the subconscious. Now, it's really not sub. Your consciousness is really the sub part. All the shit you learn, all the shit you gathered is what's sub. That's what's supposed to be underneath your divine knowledge. But for some reason, we've been flipped, we've been tricked, we've been spellbound, right? To really think that what we gather should supersede our divine knowledge. So the lower mind, the mercurial mind, literally is ruling over, because the lot. Think about this now. The logical thinking. Why you think it's so hard to surrender to your intuition? I gotta make it make sense. Is that real? Is this gonna hurt me? Should I be thinking like this? Did I say this right? Did I do this right? All that's logical shit. That needs to take a back seat to your divine mind or your intuitive mind. Now, this verse encourages the shift between mercurial understanding, ego, facts, to Neptunian trust, faith, intuition. The moon in the heart, center, Cancer energy. The moon governs emotional intuition and exalted in Taurus. Link to the heart and the value system. Now, I just said that earlier, but y'all, I'm waiting to get to this now. Link to the heart and value system because the moon exalts in Taurus. So that means how you feel could be directly linked to your value systems and the matters of your heart. Are you governing that? Or can somebody take something away and you feel like you lost you, a part of you? You lose your job, you lost a part of you. You lose a relationship, oh, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna raise my hand. I done been through that before. You left me, I don't even want to live no more. Just crying out for attention. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm telling you how this stuff play out. All right. So trusting, right, within all your heart, okay, it's gonna be very dynamic. Okay, within this time right now. Okay, hold on, y'all. Like somebody, they trying to call me again. All right. Now, trusting within your heart and involves lunar wisdom and the cycle. Can y'all see my screen? Did it stop screen sharing?
No, it's there.
Okay, bit. Trusting with all your heart involves lunar wisdom. This is the cyclical nature. This is receptive and deeply connected to inner truth and rather than outer proof. This is why I say that women are way more emotionally intelligent than men because you've been having to be in tune with what? Your menstrual cycle. You understand what I'm saying? So since you have to be more in tune with what's going on inside of you, sometimes the outside shit can fail in comparison to what you're actually experiencing on an external level. All right. So internally, when you're dealing with being able to kind of deal with this energy of the moon and trusting yourself, right, rather than needing outside proof and all that type of shit, connect to the inner, like you don't need a lot of things to prove shit. All right. So it's very powerful when you embrace that Jupiter governs higher wisdom and spiritual expansion and faith, often associated with divine law. So this verse initiates or it invites us into the Jupiterian trust, surrendering to a higher cosmic order that we may not comprehend logically. So that's why the 12,000 astrology deals with faith and the unconscious dive and connection, divine connection, surrendering of the loss of the egoic boundaries. Leaning not on your own understanding is a 12th house initiation. Where the soul is refined through surrender to the divine. Hence in the scripture when it says, you are but a mist. See? In my father's house there are many mansions, 12 of them, matter of fact. See? So when you're talking about what's in your house, there are many mansions. So this is why you deal with things like the Kabbalistic tree of life and that metaphysical map of creation and consciousness. Like so, those you understand the Kabbalah or don't study the Kabbalah, this is even if you haven't studied the Kabbalah, you can understand that this is all a map of you into your higher self. right? And this verse is also continuous, right? Or consciousness from the heart, the left brain, the logic, the intellect, the Mercury to the Nestras, the Netzach, which is the heart-centered intuition, the Venus, the ultimate leading to the temperate, which is the heart of the tree, associated with the Christ consciousness and a higher self. So to trust in the Lord with all your heart is to anchor your consciousness in the temperate. This is the sphere of beauty, truth, and divine harmony. So this is why the ego seeks certainty and control and logical proof. That's the ego. But the spiritual wisdom flows in paradox. It's cool with not knowing. It's cool with accepting that I ain't gonna know everything. Because now I get involved into some mystery and I gotta surrender because this verse invites you to move from the head into the heart, from the ego to the soul, from control to flow, from fear to faith. That is the axis of Pisces and Virgo at play. Because how this plays out in your birth chart, because now if you bring in the Neptunian prominent, right, the first, the ninth, or the 12th house, or conjunct the sun, the moon, whatever your Neptune, my Neptune is in the first house. So if your moon is trine Neptune to Jupiter, your emotional body is divine understanding. Chiron or Gemini and Virgo rules related to over-reliance or on the intellect or healing and through surrender. So the North Node in Pisces or, a Sagittarius or in the 12th house, right, your destiny involves leaning to trust the divine wisdom over egoic logic, right? So my South Node is in Pisces. My North Node is in Virgo. So y'all can imagine I got to get more out of the clouds and trusting more on my logic. This is why I got to be consistent with these workshops. This is why I'm always showing up of service. And this is why I say I'm devoted and I love what I do. It's why I'm so heart centered into everything that I do and how I experience this, right? So, of course, there are some practices you can do. I had to put that in embodying this verse, heart centered meditation, all that good stuff. Burn or bury them in a sacred place. Write down all the things you're trying to control with your mind. This can be very helpful if y'all really dive into this. Okay. I ain't telling you to go back and read your Bible. I ain't telling you to do that. I just gave you a comprehensive breakdown of what I'm looking at and how I see it. All right. And that's why, I had to come into this, though I walked through the valley of the shadow of death. I should fear no evil. And as you can see, the theme, divine love, oneness, all right, Pisces, heart chakra forgiveness, the application part, you'll see this trust in the Lord, surrender to divine intelligence and a higher source with all your heart centered awareness, spiritual intuition, love and empathy. Lean not on your own understanding, release control, move beyond ego intellect, astrological Neptune, June, Jupiter, 12th house, Pisces, the tree of life, the tip of it. This is also the chakra, the fourth chakra, the anahata, the bridge to the soul and the body. The archetype, the mystic, the servant, and the heart warrior, heart warrior. It's what archetypes we're dealing with. Are you the mystic, the servant, and a heart warrior, or is it time to embody that you're all three? I know I'm all three. I live in all three. All right. So the threshold moment, right? Surrendering egoic control for spiritual evolution. Just drop it. You can't control everything. All right. So though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, the rod and staff shall comfort me. All right. So, the metaphysical, the valley of the shadow of death represents descending to the underworld, the dark night of the soul. This the trial phase of the hero's journey. Fearlessness into the face of death reflects faith, resilience, and divine trust. The rod and staff represent divine guidance, spiritual structure, and protection. When you're dealing with the esoteric aspect, they symbolize the spinal column and the kundalini energy rising towards enlightenment. Your spine, the 33 vertebrae, how energy moves up your spine. I've been talking about the spine of, like the tree, and that's your tree of life, right? So when you're dealing with the verse, it's not about the physical death, but about passing through a profound transformation, facing ego dissolution, fear and doubt emerging into higher consciousness. So the axis of Libra and Aries, Aries is the ram, the head, the cerebrum. Aries rules the head, the ego, the impulse, the initiate and the act, right? And its first spark of life, the symbolic divine will, is born into the human experience. The cerebrum, ruled by Aries, governs willpower, cognition, and the individually identity and the I am consciousness. Aries and the sun during the full pink moon represents ego and the hero's courage to confront and the confrontation with the shadows. All right. So the scales, Libra, the kidneys, the waters of the body. Libra rules the balance and the harmony and the justice and the biologically, the kidneys which purify and regulate body fluids. Now, the kidneys metaphorically represent judgment, equilibrium, and emotional filters of our life experience and how we process and store memory. Libra, Aries, libraries. As the moon sign during this opposition, Libra is calling for emotional intelligence, refinement, and self-harmony. The Libra full pink moon, shines light on the need to purify the inner waters, emotions, memory, and make peace with the shadow self. So the heart chakra and the pink full moon. This Libra directly activates the heart chakra, which is the center and the bridge between lower ego and the higher spirit-based energy centers. Libra energy, when aligned with the heart, with the heart, offers grace, forgiveness, and compassion, especially towards the self. The sun conjunct Chiron and Aries brings the wound of identity and self-worth to surface. The moon challenges us to love the wounded parts of ourselves and others. The rod and the staff connection to the human body. Rod symbolizes spinal alignment, the Kundalini column, and the moral uprightness and the representation of discipline, masculine direction, and structural integrity. The staff often curved, just like your spine. All right. It represents the gentle guidance of the feminine aspect of curve and intuitive direction. The rod and the staff together reflect the balance of masculine and feminine energies, mirroring the Aries Libra polarity, will and wisdom, ego and empathy, initiation and integration. So you see what your rod and staff represent? Spiritually, these are internal supports, our divine backbone during moments of spiritual death and rebirth. The memory of the water and the biological connection to kidneys, Libra, filter and balance the fluids of the body, which are literal carriers of emotional memory. Water is the element of memory in both science and esoteric teachings. When the inner waters are imbalanced, emotions unprocessed, it leads to distorted perceptions, imposter syndrome, people pleasing, and the inability to make aligned decisions. Cerebral functions as Aries affected by the water imbalance. If the body is emotionally and physically overwhelmed, clarity and courage falter. I am the light, the truth, and the way. The way to the Father represents the return to divine alignment through the heart, which acts as the throne of the soul. Jesus, as the embodiment of Christ's consciousness, is the bridge between spirit and matter, just as the heart chakra bridges lower and higher chakras. The truth is an attribute of Mayat, divine balance, and cosmic law. Living in truth activates the law resonance, bringing us into harmony with divine will. The truth doesn't set you free, it makes you free. Through the heart, love, truth, faith, we transcend fear and duality, walking through the valley of the shadow without being consumed. It ain't mean you ain't gonna walk through, it just mean you ain't gonna get consumed. See, it's just like when the scriptures say, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. It did not say the weapon wasn't gonna form, did it? So the integration under the pink full moon is gonna be about identity wounds, Aries versus relationship wounds, and Libra. Because a lot of your identity wounds reflected in your relationships, and now you got two different aspects to where you could be beating yourself up about it. You showed up in a different way relationship, you beating yourself up about that. Maybe it makes you question who you are, you beating yourself up about that. Drop all those charges on yourself. The shadow work through the lens of grace and love, trust the inner guidance, the rod and the staff, right? When outer clarity is lost, living from the heart, not the mind. Tools for integration, right? You got the breath work and all that good stuff, the heart and the brain, coherence meditation, the heart math techniques. Heart math. I had to come with something new for y'all. Heart math. We doing heart math now. Now we on heart math, okay? So I want y'all to hashtag that. Anybody, if y'all got something from this tonight, please just take a quote, take something you learned, and just put heart math with it. Heart math and healing time, okay? All right. So what truth have you silenced, right? That needs honoring. You know what I'm saying? Light some candles, rose quartz, water offerings, all that good stuff. Yeah, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I will fear no evil. Thou with me, thy rod and staff, thy staff. So the metaphysical and the spiritual meaning, the valley of the shadow of death symbolize descent into the darkness. Now that's why you see a lot of those astrological aspects. I will fear no evil, represent divine presence, inner faith, and spiritual sovereignty. All right, it's not death itself, but the shadow of it, the illusion of fear. All right, the uncertainty of transformation, the passes through the ego, death, trauma, and rebirth. The rod in our staff represents divine alignment, spiritual guidance, the tools of protection and correction, like the Kundalini rising the spine of the central pillar of the tree of life. So Aries, cardinal fire, Mars rule the head, the brain, the face, represents courage, leadership, identity, willpower. Psalms, right? The assertion I will fear no evil is Aries energy charging forward through fear and shadows. I know they hurt, but I ain't scared. Aries correlates to the beginning of the astrological wheel of the hero's journey, the I am principle. Libra, cardinal era, Venus rule, right? The kidneys, the balance of the bodily fluids, all that good stuff, emotional, physical, opposes Aries because it's dealing with balancing impulse. And Mara, she was talking about this earlier with Aries, it was just a trip. Balancing impulse with self assertion, with empathy and grace and harmony. You see? All Aries have to learn this. My father was an Aries, my children mother's an Aries. Like, trust me, them people got a lot to learn about grace and empathy. But we dealing with the waters of the body, right? Libra's domain carry emotional imprints and are directly tied to memory and emotional balance. Together, Aries and Libra axis represent the battle of harmony between self and others, and impulse and reflection, fear and love, justice and courage. That's why a lot of people gonna cry during this full moon. Your turds are salty for a reason. The North Node is in Pisces. A lot of y'all ain't been releasing stagnant energy through crying, holding shit in. I'm tough. Aries, I'm hard. I'm all right. You soften and charm. You need a hug. A lot of people are one hug away from breaking the fuck down. I'm telling y'all right now, don't let that be you. Go ahead and have your breakdown, okay? If I'm giving you a hug right now, I'm gonna hug you right now. You can go and break down right now. Let it out, let it out. Okay, don't hesitate, don't vacillate. Just let it out, okay? So the rod and the staff symbolism of the human body, right? The spinal column symbolize the axis mundi. All right, this the vertical pillar of consciousness and the backbone through which the kundalini rises. The awakening of the higher states of awareness. The staff supports tools, suggest the tools of guidance like the Shumisha Nandi, Sushami Nandi, the central energy channel between the base and the spine of the crown. Together, they comfort, suggesting the inner infrastructure of the spinal or the spiritual fortitude. All right, so you'll see the heart chakra with the color pink, and the high to the center of balance. Pink full moon activates the heart chakra and Libra stains of balance. Prayer with the sun, conjunct Aries, opposite ancestors for the heart through courageous inquiry, all that good stuff. The valley of the shadow of death is unbalanced emotions and unprocessed grief stored in the waters, Libra in the kidneys, which Aries must transmute through action and alignment. See, your emotions gotta put your emotions need to be put in motion. Them hormones, that energy gotta express itself. Energy never dies. It just manifests itself. All right. So this is why you'll see Jesus through me is the way of the Father. Esoteric means Jesus symbolized the logos, the balance between human suffering and divine sovereignty. The way, Christ constant is a state of the heart, coherence, unconditional love, and inner truth. The Father, divine source, higher self, the absolute God in you. The heart, Jesus is the bridge between the lower self and the base instincts and the higher self, the crown, the divine mind. Right? This verse aligns with the hero's journey, the death of the ego, and the resurrection through the heart-centered truth. So you'll see a lot of the biological influence, the kidneys filter emotional toxins after stress. This is what Libra does, right? So through the waters are regulated by dealing with the parasystematic system, parasympathetic system. This is also dealing with the nervous system, part of the nervous system. The heart holds neurological memory over 40,000 neurons, storing emotional experiences. I'm gonna say that one more time. 40,000 neurons in your heart storing emotional experiences. The brain reflects and interprets, but the heart communicates directly to the brain via the vagus nerve. Your brain is always responding to your heart. You might not see it that way because you think a thought comes before a feeling. They don't never go that way. The feeling comes before the thought. People try to say that they can think devoid of an emotion. It's not possible. You just might not be aware of what's at the core of your thought. This is why it's called self-awareness. So all the breath work, inhaling for 5 seconds, right? And all that good stuff, even the affirmations. I walk in love through the shadows. The divine walks with me. I am protected. My heart is the seat of my wisdom. The ritual for the pink full moon. You got some stuff right there that you can tap into. All right. Remember this, the valley of the shadow of death. Using fear no evil, reclaiming your powers, Aries of boldness, that emotional descent, dark night of the soul. On the inner alignment with divine support, that's the rod and the staff. The heart chakra, the bridge between heaven and earth. All right, Libra, Aries, axis, balance between self, love, and others, and love and courage. Blooming out the darkness. All right, that's gonna be through vulnerability and heart center wisdom as a path to divinity. All right. Now, this is gonna be we wrapping it up. We been here. Appreciate y'all. All right. I'm gonna give y'all this part. This is called. I want you to learn how to create your own Seder square. Practice with this. You don't have to worry about this getting this right, but this is gonna be a very powerful way for you to kind of, cause this. I'm gonna break it down. What this is first. This is found in ancient sites across Europe and Middle East. It consists of the words Sator, Aripo, Tenet, Opera, Rotus. All right. Now, that enigmatic inscription has been linked to alchemy, sacred geometry, Kabbalah, numerology, astrology, Christian mysticism. Each word in the square forms a palindrome, meaning it can be read forward and backwards in multiple ways, symbolizing the cyclical nature of its existence and the four elements in divine order. All right. Now y'all pay attention to these words. Okay. Just pay attention to these words. Study them. All right. This is magic. It can open up your mind. It can make your mind do a lot of different things. Okay. But I want to open up y'all mind to the magic of squares and the magic of words. All right. And how you can kind of use this. All right. So to say the square, astrological significance, I'm gonna give you how to break this down, how to understand it in your chart. Satyr is the sword. It represents Saturn, the ruler of time, karma, and structure. It symbolizes the initiation of creation where seeds of destiny are sown. Aripo, the unknown, possibility, a plow or creator. This could be linked to Mars and Aries energy, representing the action of plowing through challenges and initiating transformation. Tenant, y'all know what a tenant is, to hold or sustain, forms a cross in the square, symbolizing balance, equilibrium, and the axis mundi, the center of the world, is what the axis mundi is. For y'all that probably never heard what axis mundi is, now you know it means the center of the world. Connected to Mercury, all right, who's the messenger and the bridge between divine wisdom and earthly matters. This is why Mercury represents Wednesday, and that's why Mercury is the messenger of the gods. All right. So remember, tenant, your Mercury, your thoughts, who's dwelling in this body. All right. So the messenger who brings divine wisdom, earthly matters. The opera, the work or mastery, aligns with Venus and Libra, symbolizing an act of manifestation, beauty, and cosmic order. It represents the effort required to bring intentions into reality. All right. So the rotas, the wheel or the cycles, linked to Jupiter and the wheel of fortune and expansion. It represents the cosmic cycles, movement through time, and the interconnected nature of all things. So the astrological houses of the Sator Square. These are the houses that you can look at to understand where you can activate your magic here. Meaning, if you operate in your highest expression in these areas, you've activated your Satyr squares. Satyr is your 10th house, Saturn the dominant, karma, destiny, structure, Aripo, the first house, Mars domain. All right, initiation, self identity. Tenet, seventh house, Mercury's balance, duality, relationships, wisdom. Apata, sixth house, Venus, mastery, work, service, creativity. Rotas, ninth house, Jupiter, expansion, higher knowledge, cosmic cycles. Thus, the Saturn square forms a cosmic template for unlocking destiny through karmic work, balance, wisdom, creativity, and cycles. So how this full pink moon will access this, open this up, because it's a portal that's going to allow us to see how significant it is when we come to this tradition of April's energy and making a period of renewal and transformation and manifestation. This specific full moon will take place in Libra in the sign of balance, relationship, divine harmony. This is also going to be dealing with some of the key aspects, of course, that we went over earlier, and I won't run back through those. But when you're dealing with Mercury retrograde and some of these things, it's kind of like what influenced and kind of what led to this realization for me. All right. And I got confirmation on Clubhouse too when I was speaking to somebody that I should go ahead and speak on this. All right. So find a quiet space where you can meditate or journal. Gather five counters to represent the five words or the Seder square. Have crystals aligned with the planetary influences or aligned to the planetary influences. Saturn, black tourmaline protection, Mars, red jasper, right? Mercury, blue kyanite, Venus, rose quartz, Jupiter, amethyst, all right? So this is the ritual to where you can do. You can write down some of these karmic patterns that need healing, all right, bury them on the paper to release the cycles, right? Showing you how to work with the energy. So that's how you can create your own Seder square. You can use that to access more healing, more memory. And as these memories are coming up and as the body's being more activated and all that kind of stuff, you can definitely utilize those influences to your advantage by creating your own Seder square. All right. And as you can see, and of course, I want to start adding some more magic. I know I give a ritual with everything, but I wanted to add some more aspects of tapping into magic because the time that we use practical magic. That's gonna be very huge with a Virgo and Pisces axis, practical magic, the kitchen witches are awakening, all that good stuff. All right. Now, of course, y'all know there's a ritual here attached to the PDF, and this is also going to deal with sound healing and all that good stuff. And y'all know I have the journal prompts that are leading you up until the next 4 weeks, all right, which is going to be the next full moon, okay? But of course, we'll be going off into the next new moon aspect. But that was it for tonight. Let me go ahead and get back to the screen, all right, and talk to y'all up in here. So I appreciate those of you who did stay. I know some of y'all checked out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate those who did sit. You know what I'm saying, and were able to kind of, sit and ground yourself. I know it's very hard to sit through hours of information, especially about some stuff that you might not know. So I appreciate you all for your time, your energy, all that good stuff. And of course, as always, any questions? Anybody have any questions? Or anything that you want to know, any realizations, anything you want to talk about, talk to me. All right, what's going on? How did you enjoy it? Did you learn something? All that good stuff. Okay.
Oh no, I was trying to give space, give everybody time to step up and say something.
Now that's what's up. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I guess everybody cool.
Yeah, I guess everybody cool. Yeah, man, I was man, it's funny you say that. I woke up about 5:55 this morning. Matter of fact, for about 2 days in a row, I've been waking up at 5:55 a.m.
Uh-huh.
And I think I was telling you in the chat the other day, you was talking about it will be death, and that's what I was seeing about 5:55 in the morning was death. And and I could see the moon from my window, from my bedroom window, and it was
Mm-hmm.
looking, and the clouds was covered, so it was looking like like a scary movie outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just trying to wonder what's the representation of waking up at 5:55.
Man, 5:55. That can be a lot because that's basically when the serotonin levels, right? You pre-sunrise energy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Things are about to awaken, and all that good stuff. So that can have a lot to do with brain activity, third eye activity.
Okay.
Especially depends on what you felt when you woke up. If you were coming out of a dream, did it feel like deja vu, whatever the case may be. A lot of people's serotonin levels are about to spike which is going to be a change in the circadian rhythm, which is going to be dealing with the brain activity heightening. All right, the moon deals with melatonin. So a lot
Okay.
of people might be becoming more nocturnal. Like, it's just kind of the way the energy is kind of activating. You get what I'm saying? Like,
I'm
you
kind
might
of
find your
nocturnal
rhythm
anyway, so
changing, so yeah, it depends on now. That can depend on a lot what's transiting in your chart and all that good stuff. All right.
all right. Yeah. Yeah, man, the
Mhm.
room was lit, man. It was the information was fire, man. Yeah. I
Now that's
appreciate it.
what's up. I'm
Yes,
glad you got
sir.
something from me, my brother.
Most definitely.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Anybody
then.
else? Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Sensei.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Anybody else got something they want to share?
I just want to say thank you, Sensei. The room was amazing and put a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things into perspective. So, gratitude to you for always sharing your wisdom and your knowledge to everybody.
Now, appreciate you, beloved. Gratitude. All right, anybody else? Okay, beautiful souls. Y'all already know. I appreciate you all. And those of you who paid in full. If I don't have, I know Dustin. Dustin, are you in here? He probably left. All right. So I know if I don't have your birth chart information, I know most of y'all who paid in full, I do have your birth chart information. But if I don't have it, make sure you reach out to me if you paid in full. And if you still want to get a transit reading or whatever the case may be, give you a better understanding, it's not too late to get that. All right, that was for the people who paid the full $99. So if you did not pay via the link, all right, that means that I know, of course, the people who didn't pay via the link, I got y'all. But the ones who just made a donation and let's just say you heard it and you want to get some more understanding about your moon transit because that's going to be more of an interpersonal thing. All right, so I'll be mapping that out for y'all. Y'all will be getting that tonight. Okay, of course it might be going into the morning time. All right, but I'm going to get it done for y'all tonight. So if anybody else if anyone is interested, all right, in getting that transit done for their moon sign, all right, make sure you can let me know. All right, and I'll get you done as well. All right. So I'm glad, gratitude to you all. Now for real, I'm glad y'all got something from this. I want to. I know this is gonna ignite. This is gonna set the tone for the summertime. Like this moon is gonna set the tone for the summertime real heavy. All right. So just be mindful that this energy is gonna be carrying us out. All right, and all that good stuff. So, now that y'all have a certain level of awareness, just go navigate this reality and create your own motherfucking reality as you go. And remember, y'all love my saying, fuck them people. All right. Be in
Fuck
the
them
world and not
people.
of it. You know what I'm saying? Who was that? Go ahead, Terrell. What you say?
Yeah, fuck them people.
You know what I'm saying? So once again, I appreciate you all. All right, highs of vibrations to you all. All right, and I can't tell you all enough. I appreciate you all for your support, for the way y'all support these workshops and the way y'all show up. I'm telling you, I got y'all in my heart. All right, always and always. And be ready for the next workshop because we're about to go in. All right. So of course, those of you who did get the full payment or pay the full payment, you will be getting that breakdown real soon. All right. So peace and love to you all. High vibration to you all. Namaste.
Peace. Peace.